70 runs off 25.1 overs. Charles into Hodge. Hodge is forward. Smith wants a single. It's not there. He quickly pulled the brakes up and get back into those crease. And the ball was thrown back to Charles, who polishes away and walks back to his mark. And so New Zealand winning by an innings and 52 runs there with in the second innings for Bangladesh. I'll give you that. Charles in and Hodges driving in the air on the bounce to Kyrie Pierre, and there is no run with Somia Saka. He got 149 and Mamadullah got 146. But here is Charles in, and Hodge watches it go by as it spun and bounce, and Ramlin took that jump in. And so Charles into a good.
Yes, he's causing Hodge to really play at every delivery. In the last one, that bounce and turn really caused some problems for Hodge. Well taken by Ramdin, and Trinidad looking very purposeful this morning indeed. And they have gotten the results of 1 wicket so far. And Windward Islands, to save this game or to win this game, they need to get 352, and they need to bat through the whole day.
Certainly, as Phillips runs away from us. And Smith is tickling that on the pad. They're going through for a single. The throw comes in at the bowler's end, but they are through. Misses and leg by signal by umpire Carl Tuckett. And the total goes on to 26. So Smith, he's still on 16, yet to open his account for the morning. And Hodge comes into attack. So there's the left hand, right hand combination. And the field changes over, so to the umpire to accommodate the right hander. In Hodge, who just took his guard from umpire Carl Tuckett. So certainly Trinidad and Tobago would like this condition to prevail for the rest of the day, Martin. Pretty cool and nice.
How wonderful it would be for them.
Some white cotton looking clouds around, some dark clouds high overhead. No threat here at the Annersvale playing field. And Phillips will go over the wicket to the right hander with 2 slips and a gully waiting. And Hodge watches it go by outside the awesome. That was wide, not forcing him to play, and he was very judicious there, allowing it to go by, while at the same time getting his eyes in and picking up the pace and bounce off the pitch, Martin, which could be a little problematic. He has been baked over the last 3 days in some hot sun, so there's absolutely no moisture there. It's a flat surface with a tendency to keep low in that invariable bounce. And so once you get it right, it can be a little difficult. Here is Phillips in and bowls, and Hodges driving out to backward point off a thickest outside edge, and there is no run. So he's still yet to get off the mark. 26 for 1. And while we speak, the sun is now coming through and really negating that whole idea of having that cool, comforting day.
The cloud has made its way, has made room for the sun. So here it comes in.
As we look to the southern end, there's a fuel tanker right in the harbor. Beckway a little hazy in the distance. So too is Mustique, as that's the Grenadine Islands. And Phillips in and bowls, and Hodges driving nicely out to extra cover, and there is no run. So he is still to get off the mark.
Hodge has been very consistent for the Windwards, he's been scoring the half centuries, but he's not getting to that magic figure, the 100. But he has been getting some very good starts for the season. He has scored a couple of half centuries well, but he has just not carried on.
And that's the problem. And that's what you would want. Your batsmen, after getting 50s, your eyes are in. And hence you need to dig deep and really go on to that 3-figure mark as Phillips goes into Hodge. And Hodge is tickling that down to square leg. They should get at least 2. Gone for 1. They're going to come back for the second, and they will get that comfortably. as it looks like can on the long leg boundary. Picks up and fires it in. And so he's off the mark. He's on 2. The total goes on to 28. 28 for 1 here at Arnesville. Trying to get to 352, which is a long, long way off. But the ball has been relayed back to Phillips, who runs away from us. And Hodge watches it go by, wide outside the off stump. The over comes to an end. So the Windwards 28 for 1. Really looking to get 352, Martin. And certainly they have their work cut out.
Yes, indeed. We have a lot of work to do today here at Arnesville, really playing against this Trinidad attack. With 352, the target, you have just about a day to get that. Just about 90 overs. It will take a lot out of you to complete the whole day batting, saving this game. And to get 352, you have to bat and bat tremendously well.
Yes, certainly. I think you would have to score at over, just around 4 runs and over.
Yes.
And it's going to be Charles to continue from the southern end. He will go around the wicket to bowl to the left-handed Devon Smith. So he will have that where he can bring it in to the left hand and then get it to turn away. So Smith would have to be very mindful of that angle. And he's on driving down to mid-on, who is about halfway to the boundary, and they threw for a single. So he has opened his account this morning. He goes on to 17. The total now on to 29 for 1. And Hodge, who is on 2, the right-hander, comes into strike. And we see short leg just skipping across. So Charles to Hodge, in and bowls, and Hodge is edging that, drop that slip. There it was turning into him. Hodge was reaching forward, got the outside edge, dropped that slip. It looks like Odin Smith. Really, that was a dolly. Yeah,
really poor effort there by the man that slipped. An easy catch, really to be taken for first slip, and he really made a mess of it, Charlo.
Certainly, and will that haunt Trinidad? As Charles into Hodge once more. Hodge goes back, tickles it out to square leg. He goes through for 1. He'll get that comfortably as Phillips runs away to his left, picks up and fires it into Ramdin. So with that single, he goes on to 3. And Devon Smith, who is on 17, comes into strike. And he will do battle with Charles. Over the years, we've known to have that problem with the off spinner. Back he goes and cuts high out to backward point, and he goes. Perhaps is I have just said he had some difficulties with the off spinner. He was cutting at that top edge, backward point in. Phillips took it easily. The Windwards in early trouble. 29 for 34-2. Martin, and we are just about in the 5th over of the morning.
Yes, and it could have been 30 for 3 if the man at first slip took that catch. Really was a short delivery ball there by Charles, and Smith got back and tried to cut it to backward point, but it bounced on him, hitting the outer portion of the bat, and only could have gotten to the man at backward point. And Windward Islands have lost the senior man, the man who's really, who could have really made a serious impact into this total, but he's gone. It's 30 for 2, and Charlo, if it continues so, we're going to have a very short day here at Arnesville playing field. Trinidad will be happy, but the Windward Islands will be in not so jolly mood.
Well, it's around Carnival for Trinidad, the time of festivity. So a victory here for Trinidad would even give them more cause to celebrate. Martin, one would hope, and I think they would want to wrap it up with a victory and fly out tomorrow, get into Trinidad, so that they can get a piece of the carnival.
Well,
so the Windwards 30 for 2, and really in a spot of bother as Captain Sunil Ambris walks out. So a lot would rest on his shoulders. He has gotten some good starts, but not carrying on, and really someone with his caliber, his class, one would really hope that this innings he can come good and really put something on the tins to either save the Windwards or to come out victorious.
Well, you have to save something.
So Ramden is adjusting his field now that he has Smith and he has strengthened the onside field. So there is a forward short leg, there's a backward square leg, there is a mid wicket, there is a forward square leg about 3/4 way to the fence, long on, mid off, extra cover and the backward points with slip go down. And there's Amber standing up and playing it out on the onside where mid wicket picks up and there is no run. So Ambers, he got 43 in the first innings and he was going well against his spinners. Charles is in and he goes back, cutting at that kept low and really under the bottom edge of the bat, taken there by Ramden low down. So Ambers survives. The over comes to an end, 30 for 2.
Well, another successful over for Trinidad and Tobago, ball by Charles there. And immediately Ambrose came in and he's giving him some problems. The ball is keeping low. And really, Windward Islands are 30 for 2 to get a target of 352. Really, they are in some serious trouble here early in the morning.
So Charles, he has picked up the 2 wickets so far for the morning. And really, so it's going to be Phillips to continue with a slipper gully, backward point, extra cover mid off. There's a man on the long leg boundary, a mid wicket. There's a short mid on and a straightish mid on. Phillips runs away from us, in bowls to Hodge, and Hodge watches it go by and good bounce and carry to wicket keeper Dennis Ramden, and we can see first slip there applauding. Ramden taking that around the midsection area, a welcome area for all wicket keeper. Yeah. And you would have had the task of keeping for 2 days, so you would understand what it's like. Not doing the bending when it comes to you like that, it saves the back not doing all of the bending. And Phillips turns in front of us, goes in and bowls to Hodge, and again Hodge watches it go by outside the off stump. No threat at the stumps, so Hodge prepared to just watch it go by, and Phillips would want to get a little closer to that off stump to force him to play, but at the moment Hodge content to just watch it go by outside the off stump. So Phillips, he walks purposely back. He turns in front of us. Hodge is driving nicely out to cover and straight to the extra cover. There's no run and he fires it to Ramden. See umpire Carl Tuckett just walking away from behind the stumps, perhaps just trying to keep that circulation going. And former West Indies medium fast bowler had a couple ODIs. And umpire Mark Houghton at square leg from Ireland. And Hodge waits now on Phillips. Again, that's wide outside the off stump, and Hodge watches it go by, just covering that off stump. And it's through to Ramden once again. But really a lovely morning here at Arnesville. It's fourth and a final day of this 4-day encounter. Trinidad and Red Force, who coming from a cellar position and really stunning the Windwards so far in terms of their own performance.
The Windwards' performance has really fallen off to the latter part of this tournament, really, and it's cause for concern.
Phillips into Hodge, and again Hodge for the 4th consecutive delivery. Watches it go by.
Well, Phillips is bowling the ball just a little bit too wide outside the off stump, so it doesn't draw him into a shot, and he does the right thing, shoulder arms into the keeper's Keeper's glove. No problem for him. And Phillips have to think about what he's doing. He's bowling a ball a little bit too wide outside the off stump. He needs to cause him to play a little bit more, play more to his deliveries.
So Phillips into Hodge. And Hodge is hooking that out to mid-wicket, just over the mid-wicket in the silver and into the fence for 4. He was jumping there for all his worth. I believe he got some fingers onto it, Martin. But it's into the fence for 4. So he goes on to 6. The total now on to 34. But he goes on to 7 and the total on to 34 for 2. And Martin, close call.
Yes, Fila made a brilliant effort there. You could see he has some weight on him as well. That is the silver at mid-wicket. But 4 runs to Hodge and 4 runs to the Windward Islands, 34 for 2. It was Phillips who just sprung that one shot and he racked back and pulled it in the mid-wicket area into the fence for 4 and carried his tally up to 7 and Windward Islands 34 for 2.
So Charles will continue from the southern end. He'll bowl to Sonny Lambris, who is right forward to that, plays it to the short leg. And you can see Ramdin applauding a good delivery. So that's the encouragement he, as a captain, you would have to give to your bowlers. As Charles, who has been very consistent in and bowls, and Ambris is tickling that out to that backward square leg area. And there is no run. Phillips is there. So the total remains 34 for 2 in search of 352 for victory. That's a very long way off. In and bowls and Ambris goes back, plays it to mid-on to the forward short leg, and there is no run. So Trinidad and Tobago keeping things very, very tight here at Annas Vale. Building pressure all the time. Ambris is using his feet, driving, not inside edge. Out to that man at that short mid-on position, and there is no run. So he waits on Charles again, who is into a very tight spell. This time Ambris right forward to that again. Ramdin applauds, and there is no run. His slip goes down. He put down an easy catch off Hodge, and there was Ambris using his feet, not getting to the pitch but defending. The over comes to an end. Another very good over by Charles, keeping the rain here on the Windwards, 34 for 2.
Yeah, pretty tight bowling here by Charles, causing Ambris to play at every delivery. He's coming at Ambris, and a very good job he's doing at the southern end here for Trinidad and Tobago. He has already picked up a wicket so far this morning. No, 2 wickets this morning.
2 wickets this morning.
2 wickets this morning, and he's really been supported here by Phillips, the right arm pacer from this end, and they're doing a pretty good job here for Trinidad and Tobago, giving them the start that they really wanted.
And so it's going to be Charles to continue, and very noticeably we see Ramdin just pushing the mid-wicket, the silver, a little deeper, and perhaps anticipating another short delivery as Phillips is in short, and this time he's hooking and hooking down between the mid-wicket and the man at square leg. It will go into defense. A very good shot indeed, and he got on top of it, rolled his wrist, and he picked up another boundary. He goes on to 11. The total now on to 38, but Martin, I think it was predictable.
Yes, the field was set for that, and he bowled it short, and Hodge was really to the task, and he played a fantastic pull shot through square leg, actually bisecting the 2 fielders, the one at long leg, the one at deep square leg, and he played a fantastic shot there into the fence for 4. Well done.
So he's on 11, he waits on Phillips. So let's see what Phillips will do now. And this time he's outside the off stump, and Hodge shoulders arm and watched it go by into the gloves of Ramdin, and there is no run. So 11 to Hodge. Ambris yet to get off the mark. He's leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end as the captain, so the weight would be on his shoulders, and should be some strong shoulders, having some of those macaque, those river fishes. in the Marico area.
Yes, man.
And Phillips would go past umpire Tuckett now, and Bowles, and Hodge lifts his bat out of the way, and that had a lot of bounce on it. Ramdin took that about head height, and so a lot of height over his head. As a matter of fact, it took off, and Ramdin did well to pull it down. And I think he's still the best glove man in the Caribbean. And Phillips, who makes his way back. The ball is now being relayed to him as umpire Carl Tuckett just when the bail just fell off, I think, by the strong breeze that's blowing across the ground. So he has to replace that. And all is well as Phillips goes into Hodge. And Hodge is in behind that. It was short of length and it was fired back at the stumps, but there was Hodge in the way, cannon into his pads, and umpire Carl Tuckett has a quiet word with Phillips. Certainly, I think it was uncalled for. He was going nowhere whatsoever.
Yeah, no need for those sort of reactions.
But the sun is out, and Trinidad, having had early success, looking for more success. And not too sure if you have looked at those comedies, a young girl by the name of Success, Manuela.
Yeah.
And there was Hodge shouldering arms, watching it go by outside the off stump. He certainly gets a good laugh. These brilliant young girls.
Hey. Could you see your braid?
No, can you see common sense? It's really fun. As Phillips would do battle with Hodge. In and Bowes, and Hodge watches it go by again outside the off stump. The over comes to an end, and it's 38 for 2 here at Arnesville in wonderful sunshine and really good conditions for cricket.
Yes, a much better over there being bowled by Phillips to Hodge, really hitting just on the off stump, and it see the wicket giving him some assistance. Ramdin taking a few deliveries at the chest and over the head, really, and he working up some nice pace here on a flat shack. It's good to see that a fast bowler is bowling with this sort of pace, and he has bowled a pretty good over for the morning. I think that's the best over he's bowled.
So it's going to be Brian Charles to continue. He will bowl to Sonny Lambris, who is yet to get off the mark. And Ambris is looking to tuck that on the onside, taking on the tight pad. It bubbled on the offside, half-hearted appeal by Charles. There is no run. So I recall that one with the phone. So where the uncle asks if he's going to ask certain questions as Charles in and Ambris is defending. Ambris holds up his hand like a traffic officer. Says, hold on, I'll pick it up. There's no run. So whoever answers the question will get the phone. And so the question was, how many persons Jesus fed with the 5 loaves and 2 fishes? There's Ambris driving off the inside edge. Brian Charles failed to stop it. So Ambris is off the mark. He gets a single. The total goes on to 39. And Hodge on 11 comes into strike. So that's the question that was asked to Success and Emanuela. And Success answered 5,000. But he would then ask you a question. And once he answers correctly, he gets back his phone. And here is Charles in, and Hodge is defending on the offside. So he, after giving up the phone, he still had the phone in his hand, and he asked. They said, well, you asked me a question. And she looked at him. I tell you that in a moment, as Charles in and Hodge tickles it out to square leg. They go through for a single. As Phillips runs after it, picks up, and Hodge gets a single. He goes on to 12 and 40, the total now for 2. So Success looked at him and she said, okay, name the 5,000 persons that Jesus fed with the fishes. He said, he was stunned. And here is Ambrose driving. And Charles is still down. Did he take it? It seems as if a chance gonna begin. Did he hurt himself in the process? No, I think he's perhaps disappointing. The physio was coming out, but he is now back on his feet. The over comes to an end. I think it's really more out of disappointment, Martin, not holding on to that return catch. So Windwards 40 for 2.
Well, it was struck with some power from Ambrose there, and it would have been an excellent catch by Charles there if he had held on to it. But unfortunately, he didn't. And Windward Islands skipper lives to fight again. Trinidad looking very purposeful, as I said this morning. Charles very much disappointed. He didn't take that catch.
Definitely. So he's still there. He's on 1. It's Hodge on 12, who will do battle with Phillips. And there are some spinners who are very good to their own bowling. In and bowls, and Hodge is driving at a delivery pitched up, not timing it well. And he gets no run. So still 40 for 2. Our own Stanley Gunny Hines was a really good fielder to his own bowling. Roger Harper comes to mind.
Yes,
I don't think you hit very few persons would hit ball back to them and get away. But I know Viv Richards hit one back to the same Stanley Gunny Hines who had to remove his hands.
Catch it.
There are certain things that you have to let go. Self-preservation. And here is Phillips, who goes in and bowls short, and Hodges cutting that out to square cover. He'll get a single. He goes on to 13, and Ambrose, who is on 1, comes in to strike. The total inches on to 41 for 2. So the Windwards slow going. They have lost 2 wickets for the morning, and really it's a big ask here for Windwards. We cannot overemphasize that, as we see Captain Sunil Ambrose taking his guard. I think he's going to face Phillips for the first time.
Yes, the first time for the morning.
So he's taking it. He now takes his guard, resettles, and he looks around the field, trying to ascertain where the fielders are. And he settles and waits. Phillips in and bowls, and he's right forward to that, playing it out to extra cover, and there is no run.
Something to ponder on, really. How do the Windward Islands batsmen approach this day, really? Do I come out in a positive frame of mind? Do I try to bat for the rest of the day? Try to get as much runs as possible? How do you get ready for that?
One would want to think, and my suggestion was to be positive. Because if you come out with the intentions of just defending your wicket, more often than not you'll get out. But you have to be positive, not being rash, but positive. As Phillips in bowls to Ambrose, who is forward, plays it out to square cover, who has to move to his right, and they're through for a single. So good running. Ambrose goes on to 2. Total now on to 42 for 2. Hodge, who is on 13, comes in to strike. And so good communication there between Ambrose and Hodge. And there's a slipper gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-off on the offside, a mid-on, mid-wicket short, a square leg, and a man on the long leg boundary. So square leg is about 3/4 way just off the boundary. And Hodge just doing a bit of gardening, removing some loose dirt from around his crease areas. Phillips goes in and bowls to Hodge wide outside the off stump, and that came back after it had gone past the stump, and Hodge watches it go by. So for the morning, Martin, I think 95% of Phillips's deliveries have been left alone by the batsman.
Yes, on a 4th day on a wearing pitch, really, you don't want that as a fast bowler with a new ball. You want the batter to be playing most of your deliveries here, and you're looking to bowl a team out in the last day. I don't think he's doing a very good job with this new ball up front.
And the old saying is that if you bowl straight, when you miss, I hit. So here is Phillips in, and this time Hodge is defending a much better delivery, and you can see Captain Ramdin applauding from behind the stumps as the over comes to an end. So it's 42-42 here at Arnersville in very excellent condition.
Yes, excellent conditions for cricket, really excellent conditions for the beach. I know some persons went to church, came here. Some persons are still at church, you must get your blessings. It's a Sunday. But Sunday mornings are very special to me and special to some, basically to everybody.
It's a
Caribbean thing.
Special thing in the Caribbean.
Yes.
So when you do cook up a storm, you go to church. It's really a day of rest and relaxation for a lot, but for some it's still a day of partying and merriment and the likes. But typically Sundays in the Caribbean, very relaxing day when you sit and enjoy the meal and get some much needed rest after a hectic week. And there is Charles to Ambrose, who tickles that out to forward short leg, and there is no run. So,
well, Sunday for me is a good day. You have a good breakfast, a good lunch, and a good rest, and you must go to church.
Working that out to mid wicket, he'll get a single. He goes on to 3, and the total now on to 43 for 2. So let me just find out. Do you go to church, Martin?
Unfortunately, my church starts at 9. I have to be here by what time?
Oh, your church starts at 9.
Yes.
Just as they informed.
No? There's no 7 o'clock mass or 6:30 or so. So unfortunately.
You didn't go this morning.
Yes.
So did I. I didn't go this morning either.
Yes.
As Branch is in, and Hodge looking to turn that, but that squared him up. It seems. Is that a dusra? Is he getting it to straighten? But really, you note that there's some deliveries perhaps that goes on with the arm and creating a bit of a problem while they play for the turn. And here is Brian Charles in again. You can see Hodge there pulling that hand away and stabbing it down in front of the diving slip. And there is no run. So Charles creating some problems here for the batsmen. And they would have to be mindful because he's very, very consistent. He's always attacking the stumps, not bowling for you to leave alone outside the off stump. And there is Hodge in behind that. And the forward short leg comes away, picks up and tosses it back to Charles. So good contest here between Charles and the two batsmen. Put down a return, catching the last over. In and bowls, and Hodge is driving off a thickest outside edge to backward point. There is no run, and the over comes to an end. So he has kept things very, very tight indeed while picking up 2 scalps this morning and really providing the sort of service that Captain Dinesh Ramdin is asking for.
Yes, he has been very attacking, really. He has caused the batters to play every ball that is bowled. They have hardly left a ball outside the off stump, really. And it's something good to see from our off-spin on a 4th day, trying to get 10 wickets here. So a very good start here for Charles, for the Trinidadians. He has picked up 2 wickets so far. And we see a change in bowling here. We see Khan, the man who really had a good first innings, picking up some five wickets or so. He's been introduced, and they would have to deal with even more spin.
So it's going to be a good diet of slow bowling, I would anticipate, for most of the day. So Imran Khan, the leg spinner, will pick it up from the northern end. So Anderson Phillips, he has been pulled out of the attack. And Khan would now look to give support to Brian Charles from the northern end. So Ambrose just doing a bit of stretching down at the striker's end. And there is a slip as Ramdin goes down behind the stump. Ambrose settles, and here is Khan in and bowls short, and he goes back and steers it out to backward point. There is no run. So the total remains 43 for 2. Ambrose on 3. Hodge is on 13. So Khan in, and there is Ambrose lifting that down to mid-on. Who comes off the boundary? That's Phillips, and he get a single. Not too convincing that shot, Martin, but well away from any fielder. And he gets a single. He goes on to 4, and the total now on to 44 for 2. So Hodge comes into strike. He has gotten rid of his helmet, and he's wearing that green cap of the Windward Islands. He has retaken his guard, still doing a bit of marking down at his crease. Now he settles and waits for Khan. short, and he working it nicely out to mid-wicket. They gone for one. That's all they would be. So good rotation of the strike. So he goes on to 14. The total now on to 45 for 2. As the sun has disappeared a bit and cool conditions, no threat of rain. Imran Khan will bowl to Sunil Ambriz in and bowls, and Ambriz is driving off an outside edge to backward point, who takes it on the bounce, and there is no run. Really playing across the line, closing the face of the bat, and the ball turning away from him, taking the outside edge. So he will be advised to play straight. And here Khan once more in and bowls, and he's right forward the outside edge again. Diving effort there by Slip, and there is no run. And you can see umpire Carl Tucker just indicating to his colleague that there's one delivery remaining in the over. Khan is in, and there's Ambriz now right forward to that. Ramdin applauds. And the over comes to an end. A good over by Imran Khan, Martin. 45 for 2. And after your comments, and okay, I just have to give a little break to the elder statesman.
Yes, a pretty good over there by Khan. Good start for him here in the second innings. He has hit the money, pitched the ball just on the length that he wanted. Had Ambriz playing across the line of a leg spinner. Dangerous ploy to employ against a leg spinner. And he starts very, very positively.
So it's going to be Brian Charles to continue from the southern end. As he bowl to Hodge. Hodge waits on Charles. This time he's right forward, drives it out to extra cover. Kyrie Pierre is there, the Centurion in the first innings. And there is no run. Charles once more in and bowls, and Hodge is working that to backward square leg. He'll get a single as Khan move to his left, picks up. So he goes on to 15, and the total now on to 46. Ambriz comes into strike. He's on 4. And this morning we have lost Kimani Melios, caught Pierre, bowled Brian Charles for 6. And there is Ambriz defending. Short leg picks up, and then the prized scalp of Devon Smith caught Phillips, bowled Brian Charles for 17, and Windwards found themselves at 30 for 2. But these two have so far added 16 as Brian Charles in, and Ambriz goes back and works it away. Short leg moving to his right, picks up, and there is no run. So we see umpire Houghton just indicating perhaps there are 2 deliveries remaining. Ian bowls short. Ambriz looking to play a paddle sweep, and not taken cleanly by Ramdin behind the stumps. And there is no run, but he'll be advised, Martin, to rather than try to be that delicate, to really be a bit more positive. He goes back and he plays it out to backward point. He should get at least 2 here. Phillips is after it. They come back for the second, and they will get that comfortably. And the total goes on to 48. He goes on to 6. So Hodge is on 15. Ambriz on 6. 48 for 2. Martin.
Yes, Winwood Adams 48 for 2. Looking to bat out the day or score 352. They have lost the senior statesman Devon Smith and Melias pretty early this morning. These two have come together so far, put on 18, and they will, from a Winwood Irons point of view, they hope that they would be batting up until lunch or so. If not, we could see a pretty shortened game today, Charlo.
So it's going to be Imran Khan, right arm leg spin in and bowls, and Hodges right forward to that, giving respect where it is due, and there is no run. So Khan, these with the spinners operating, they will get through these overs very, very quickly. Imran Khan in again, and Hodge is lifting that high. It's in the air, top edge, and easily taken. Well. It was tossed up, and he looked to hit the leg spinner over mid-on, playing across the line. Took a leading edge, went high into the air, and mid-off just stood there, settled on it, took it easily, and Hodge makes his way back. With Windwards now 48 for 3, and one really asks some questions now. What is going through the minds of these batsmen playing across the line to a leg spinner? You will be advised to play straight, but something must be drastically wrong.
Well, I mentioned it just a while ago that is a dangerous ploy to be applying to a leg spinner on a slow turning track. You playing across the line of the ball really is a dangerous ploy, and it's only a matter of time before a leading edge. Ambrose did it before. Now Hodge tried it for the first time, and he fall victim.
Perished.
Yes, and he fall victim to Khan, who has picked up his first wicket in the second innings, and the Windward Islands are now 48 for 3. They have lost the consistent Hodge. The skipper is still there, and here comes Keto to join the skipper.
Yes, Keto comes out, and really the approach of the Windward Island batsmen for the morning has not really given confidence there that there's intention to stay there and to stay for a very long time.
That's why I asked the question, what is going through the minds of the batters coming out for the Windward Islands? Do I play positively? Do I stay positive? Do I take this session by session? How do I approach this day? Knowing I have 352 to get, I have a whole little bat. How do I approach this game?
So we'll see what will transpire from here onward. So Windwards already Trinidad and Tobago. The morning so far has gone to Trinidad and Tobago. They have eked out 3 wickets and for some 27 runs.
Yes.
And it's Keto, Roland Keto, to face up to Khan.
Wow.
So it's Mohammed who took that catch at mid-off, and it's Khan into Keto, and he's tickling that fine. They should get at least 2 here. The burly Smith runs after it, picks up and fires it to Ramdin. So the 50 comes up, and I'll get you some statistics on that. In the 23rd over, in 88 minutes, Martin, 136 balls, 88 minutes, the 50 for 3 in, and he's right forward to that. So he's on 2. That's Keto. Ambrose is on 6, leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end. And Khan, who's buoyed by that success in, and Bose and Keto again forward defensively. And the over comes to an end. So a successful over for Khan, and Windwards 50 for 3, really looking down the barrel of the gun, so to speak.
Yeah, actually, the fall of Hodge wickets, I saw all the Trinidadians really celebrating. I think that was a ploy, that was a plan by the team, really, to how to bowl at Hodge, and he fell victim to the leg spin of Khan. Everybody celebrated. He played across the line, an easy catch to Mohammed.
Brian Charles in and bowls to Ambrose, who is back and plays it to forward short leg. But when one has to give credit to the captain, Dennis Ramdin, he seemed to have done his homework. He knows the players, and he has really set the field for that, and he has gotten the support from his bowlers.
Yes.
Charles in, and there's Ambrose. It's ballooning off his pads. The appeal for a catch. Umpire Houghton have nothing to do with it. Ambrose is still standing there.
He has survived a couple of positive appeals here this morning. He has to be very careful as he go about his job.
So Charles once more in, bowls to Ambrose, and he's looking to use his feet and work it on the onside, not getting a lot of bat onto that. So really under some pressure here, and Charles so far getting the better of him. But he would have to dig deep into his resolves and really fight this period off. He goes back looking to tap that down to third man. Dangerous shot taken by Ramdin. And the pressure is really taking its toll.
He looks as if he could get out at any time, Charlo. He's playing a shatter ball really, and the ball is going across the bat. He's bubbling in front of the short leg. He doesn't look very much settled.
Here he is, and again he plays that the kind of paddle sweep, not getting it far, just to the man at backward square leg in can, and there is no run. As I look to my right, we can see the ferry, that's Barracuda, going heading to Port Kingston from the Southern Grenadines. And there is Ambrose taking on the pad, loud shout for LBW. Ambrose rammed in with his hand held up. The over comes to an end. But really he has survived that very testing over here from Byron Charles. He's still there. He's 6. And and with him is Kato, who is on 2. It's 50 for 3. 50 for 3. Really, I think... Windwards really struggling in a big way, as I welcome Stanley Gunny Hines into the commentary box.
Yes, good morning to you, Cecil Charles. Good morning to our listeners and viewers. The Windward Islands really struggling here now on 50 for the loss of 3. Can in and Kato driving that one out to mid-off. He collects a single out to Jason Mohammed. He's on 3 and a total 51 for 3. With the Melius caught Pay of Brian Charles 6, Devon Smith caught Phillips of Brian Charles 17, and Kavim Hodge a while ago caught Mohammed of Imran Khan 15. Khan in for our defensive goes Sunil Ambrose. The wickets fell at 25, 30, and 48. Certainly, Charlo, they are really looking on the barrel, so to speak. Slip, backward point, cover, extra cover, mid off, long on. Short leg can in, and this Ambrose completely deceived and beaten with a beautiful delivery. On this 4th-day pitch, Khan is going to give real problems, and he has started already. That one pitched the wrong leg stump and jumped right over the stump with Ambrose completely at sea. Khan to Ambrose. Ambrose goes back to a shorter delivery, and he defends, and there is no run. You're not going to survive this type of bowling here from both ends, except you decide to really gut it out, grind it out, and be very determined. It's not easy to bat on this 4th-day pitch. Can in. And here is Ambrose. Forces this one out to long on. He collects a single. He goes up now up to 6, I think it is. 7. So Ambrose up to 7, and he brings Kato in strike. He is on 3. Yes, 51 for the loss of 3. Khan to Kato. Kato beaten outside the off stump, and the end of another interesting over, as the win was 52 for the loss of 3 after the first hour. Resuming the innings on 21 without loss. They have added 31 runs. More importantly, they've lost 3 wickets.
Oh, definitely. It has been a Trinidad morning so far, Stanley. The batsmen really being tested here. There's no intention, no indication of permanence out in the crease, and Khan is getting this ball to rip and bounce, and certainly the leg spinner, he's going to be a handful on the surface. Brian Charles at the other end, he has been very, very consistent, really probing away, getting some deliveries to turn and bounce, getting some to go on with the arm as well, and really giving some real serious problem to these batsmen. So they will have a diet of slow bowling, and one would anticipate that this slow bowling would take them up to lunch, Stanley. And definitely the Windwards would have to dig very, very deep to survive this period indeed. But Trinidad and Tobago would want to have some success. With 52 on the board, there are still some 300 runs to get. But Trinidad and Tobago need 7 wickets to wrap things up, and really the odds are in favor of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, Charlo. Some bowling figures. Phillips 7 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 16 runs. Brian Charles 12 overs, 4 maidens, 2 wickets for 22 runs, and Imran Khan 3 overs for 6 runs, a wicket. Certainly, the spinners are expected to bowl and bowl until the winners are dismissed. There will be no ifs, there's been no doubt, buts about it. That spell from Phillips was his last in this game. I am not going to ask him.
I'm not anticipating him coming back in
Period.
unless we see the Windwards really batting long and two batsmen really sticking up, grinding out. Perhaps a partnership that we saw from Mamadula and Saka.
Charlo, I'll be very honest with you. I do not expect it. The way that the ball is turning and the purchase that both spinners are getting from this pitch, I do not, from my own assessment, believe that Cato has the real technical ability to survive this for the rest of the day. So too Ambrose. Ambrose has been given a life or two, or whatever it is. I saw one, and he is really looking uncertain against Imran Khan.
Well, Gunny, I just had a chuckle a while ago, and really the big man, De Silva, really showing his strength, giving his captain a ride. Taking him on his back for quite a few yards. Yeah. So
the way I'm seeing it, Charlo,
but they're having fun.
The winners should try and be positive, bat and bat and bat, because some of these balls are unplayable. Particularly the last over from Khan, it really spun across Ambrose, to be honest with you.
Yes, I think I would always say you have to be positive, not reckless. But you are going to get some unplayable deliveries because the foot they pitch, it's wearing, and we have already seen some pitching around the foot marks. They are bouncing, they are turning, and you are going to get those, and you have to prepare to fight that. Maybe take a few blows on the body as well.
The thing with it is about survival. That's how I see the winners. I do not believe, from what I'm seeing here and from my own cricket knowledge, that they are going to get this 352. I do not believe so.
300 runs adrift.
And that's not going to happen.
To me, it's impossible, really.
It's not going to happen.
But it's a matter of can they bat out?
Can they bat as long as possible? As long as possible. That is the whole thing about it. So, Charles will continue from the off-spinner from the southern end to bowl to Ambrose on the flighty delivery on that off stump. He defends and there is no run. But Ambrose continues to fight it despite whatever problems he's facing there with his spinning and bouncing and turning deliveries. As Charles from the southern end to Ambrose. Ambrose walks this one. He has a way of just trying to walk the ball off his body. And he ended up at shortish, fine leg, long leg, whatever you want to call it. As Charles into Ambrose. Ambrose again walking it in the same area, and Ramden is well aware as to his strengths and his weaknesses, and they're already walking on that weak area there of Ambrose. As he looks around, there's a slip, silly Medan, straightish mid-wicket in Mohammed. Charles into Ambrose. Forward defensive, out to this Mohammed, and there is no addition to the total. 52 for the loss of 3. I'm at 3 more 100 runs the rest of the day, 7 wickets. Those are the equations. As Charles in. And my goodness, that one spun and kept low. It really spun.
It was flatter and fast.
He got down and he stopped it on the inner portion of the bat and rammed in through his hand into the air. Those are the sort of deliveries we're talking about. Forces this one up to mid-wicket. No run and a very good over. And Ambrose survived that one.
Certainly, it was a delivery that really was faster, flatter. It turned, it kept low. But Ambrose he dug it out, came down very, very hard on it. And really, in the end, had to laugh because it was a delivery that could have undone him. But he really got down and kept it out.
He survived.
And really, it was a testing over by Brian Charles. And he has gotten 2 wickets this morning, Gunny, but he has continued to pile that pressure on.
Yeah, the pressure is really, really and truly on. And the way the ball is spinning and turning here is not going to be easy. Outside the off stump and here, the skater looking to play a drive, the ball spun past the bat.
It was a very careless shot, Gunny. Casual and careless.
Kato, who is on 3, faces Khan and he forces this one out to out cover. Oh, that's a bad misfield there by Joshua De Silva.
poor piece of work.
Very poor. Ball right through his hands, through his legs, everything, and they get a single. So that's 4 to Cato, 7 to Ambrose. And Ambrose and Cato, they are really facing this Trini chin music in terms of the spin bowlers. And good morning to our listeners there in TNT. It's Carnival Sunday.
So that's why the bowlers are making the batsmen dance?
Ambrose pushes this one up to mid-off. Another single to Ambrose. So he goes up to 8, 54 for 3. Certainly, we're really and truly, the party has started in Trinidad and Tobago. Charlo, how was the love boogie last night?
I think it was good.
Well, I suspected you when, but I had it pretty tough last night. This one driven by Ambrose to the left of by Cato, to the left of mid-off, and they collected a single up to 5. Very well attended. I gave someone a ride after church this morning, and they said it's finish at about 5 to 5, thereabout. Around 5 o'clock.
I was fast asleep at that particular time.
Can in, back. He allows this one to go by, let this spin into the glove of Ramdin, and there is no run. But the person said they left there at 5, went to karaoke, and continued until I actually gave him a ride after Mass. And here's Ambrose swinging this one. He decided to take a calculated risk. It was on the middle stump, and he went down and he swung this one to mid-wicket for 4. He said he's going to fight these spinning deliveries, and it's down to mid-wicket for 4. At the end of it all, it turned out to be a safe shot.
It was a safe shot, Gunny, and I think once it's tossed up like that, I think you can attack the bowler. You cannot allow him to just keep coming at you all the time and just tossing it there and you're pushing forward and push, because the time is going to come, but give him something to think about. That he's tossed up, I hit you over the top, or I force the captain to change the field, and I also force the bowler to change what he's doing.
Right, 59 for 3. Charles continues. So the person went to karaoke, they sang, they danced, continuing the boogie.
Perhaps it's the boogie now.
No, they were heading for home up in the country area in Colville, Harry's hometown. As Charles to bowl to Cato. This one striking him on the pad, but outside the off stump, and as he squares up, and there is no run. Seemed to have hit him in the sensitive part. And I wondered if he's not using protective gear. You got to be very careless not to be using protective gear. Got to maybe don't have any use for it.
One cannot see you playing cricket now without that, Stanley.
Cato goes by. My goodness, this one spun between Cato and the stump, jumped over the stump, taken by Ramdin. Danger, 59 for 3, and certainly they are really going through a torrid time here from the Trinidad and Tobago spinners. Charles in forward defensive this time, squares him up again. He's not pushing, he's not coming out on the front foot and try to defend. He's staying on the back foot and is creating some problem for himself. As questions really being asked. Charles into Cato. Forward defensive this time, out on the front foot and pushes out, and there's no dictionary to it. But certainly that should be the technique. Get forward and try to defend it. And wait on the loose one whenever it presents itself. Charles into Cato. And Cato driven that one again. There's another chance, but it's a tough one. That one is driven to the right of Charles. He got his fingers to it. Couldn't hold that one. And technically it is a chance, but it is a tough one. 60 for 3 at the end of that over, as the Windwards Volcanoes looking to climb this mountain up to get towards getting 352. It's not going to be easy. So I said the individual continued the boogieing from cruise ship berth into karaoke and was looking for a ride to go to her hometown.
I see.
Colville's hometown. Forward defensive goes Cato, and there is no run. So
just to let you know that South Africa, they have beaten Sri Lanka in the first ODI by 8 wickets.
They made 2-something.
They got 232 for 2.
This one outside the off stump and through to Ramdin, no run. So who got the run? Somebody has to got
Captain Faf du Plessis got 112 not out of 114 balls. and Quinton de Kock got 81.
This one, he slaps this one down to the cover boundary for a boundary. Just took my head away from it. Slap that one through the covers for 4. As you quite rightly said, you cannot stay there and just punch. You got to be positive. You got to fight this spinning ball, fight fire with fire. I think that's the best way to describe it. So he goes up now to 10, Ambrose and 12. We're seeing 2 boundaries in quick succession, 64 for the loss of 3. Can to Kato. Kato down the ground and hit it over mid on to the boundary for 4, another 4. And certainly he's taking the fight to Can. And it just has to be, he has to be selective. That's about the most I can say. It's all going well to be positive, but kept saying, don't take risks.
Don't be reckless.
But he did the correct thing. It was a low full toss, and he hit it over the head of the man at mid onto the boundary for 4. He's up to 14 as Can in again to Kato. Kato jung the ground and hits this one through cover. Could it reach the boundary? They have 1. They have 2. They're going to come for a third one as the return comes in. 3 runs there to Kato. He's up to 71 for the loss of 3. And we're seeing 11 runs in this over thus far. A pretty productive one as far as the Windward Islands are concerned. But it's a question of, can they keep it up to play shots all the while, or would they eventually succumb to this kind of spin bowling? You're not going to bat spin bowling. Can in. Ambrose pushes this one up to mid-off. He rolls up. He gets another one. He's up to 17. He's up to 13. Kato on 17, 72 for 3, but a productive over there as far as the
Volcanoes are concerned. Very productive over, Stanley. I think some 12 runs in that over. And just what they would do the Windwards good, I think that should work on the confidence of Kato. Had some 2 boundaries, really back-to-back boundaries. So they are prepared to take the attack to Can and try to beat him off this line rather than push and prod and really at the end of the day there's nothing in the tins and you're out.
I got that terminology, punching from the late great St. Orange Simon. Here is Charles. Ambrose uses his feet and pushes this one out to the left of mid-wicket, straightest mid-wicket. No run, 72 for the loss of 3. One is hopeful that they do not get carried away. As Charles in, and here's Ambrose driving it up to cover. No addition to the total. 72 for the loss of 3. Windward Islands Volcanoes trying to get 352. We're seeing some positive intents from both players. Charles into Ambrose. This one certainly seemed to be the Dusra. They looked at his action. Seemed to be the Dusra. But it's not easy to bowl the Dusra because your action becomes questionable. And he lifts this one safe, over, long off, down to the boundary for 4. They're getting very adventurous. They're taking the attack now to the Trinidad and Tobago spinners. Ambrose up to 17, 76 for 3.
So perhaps they're saying we cannot continue to just push and push. Let's try to put the fight to the bowlers. And there was Ambrose using his feet and going straight. The mid-off is a bit wide and a very safe shot.
This one, he tickles it as is usual, customary with him, down to the shortish, fine leg, long leg. And there is no run. 76 for the loss of 3. Charles to Ambrose. Ambrose turns it the same way, but to the right of the seem to be Khan. They're taking 1. They're coming for a second, I believe. Kato will be pushing Ambrose for a third. But it has gone past the rope as Khan is not the fastest of fielders. So another boundary there to Ambrose. He rolls up to 21 and at 80 for 3. And suddenly a spurt of runs in the last 2 overs. 20 in the last 2 overs.
And so far we have had some 8 runs in this over.
20 in the last 2 overs, bear in mind what happened to Imran Khan.
Yeah, but as you rightly said, Khan is not the fastest, and he was really laboring after that long leg boundary.
This is a weak area in his cricket.
Well, you saw it in the field as well, and I think I also think there's another weak area in terms of Josh Da Silva. Da Silva.
Yeah.
I think you can easily pick out those two as the two weak links.
Let's see how this over. Let's see how this over will how Ambrose approaches it. Kato approaches this over because he seems to be intent on attack. This one he forces one up to long on, and they're going to get a single. So he goes up to 81 for the loss of 3, as Khan will now bowl to Sunil Ambrose. Khan to Ambrose. Ambrose allowed that one to come onto the bat. It was slower, and he just fended it out on the offside. 81 for the loss of 3. Ambrose pulling away. Khan is ready to deliver. Khan to Ambrose. Ambrose tickle this one fine. He's going to get some more runs. Going fine down to that long leg area. And it's 2 more runs to Ambrose. He goes up to 23. Kato is on 18. And Windward Islands 83 for the loss of 3 in pursuit of 352. Khan to back. Ambrose guides that one, but straight to the man at square backward point. No run. 83 for the loss of 3. Khan will have to rethink the way they are set out attacking him over the last over so in. And there's Ambrose playing a false shot, looking to hit that one through the onside, took the leading edge and flew to where gully, in the gully area, but down to third man, he collects a single, but you have to be very, very careful. As Khan from this end, flighted. Kato playing that one inadvertently, hitting the inner portion of the bat. It's a googly, and it ran out on the onside, and he finishes the over. So Ambrose is on 24 and Kato 19. The Windward Islands 85 for 3 and 25 runs in the last 3 overs, and certainly the tempo has been set here now by Kato. Let's see if they can continue without taking risks, or if they will just try to keep the scoreboard rolling over, so to speak, and keep themselves, give the Trinidad spin bowler something to think about.
Well, Connie, I think in that over we saw Khan not giving it the sort of loop that he gave it the previous over.
This one here from Charles. Go ahead.
And also pull his length back a bit, so the batsman had it a little easier, playing him off the back foot rather than bringing them forward and getting that to spin.
This one out in the front foot, played alongside the pitch. That's Charles into Kato, driving it back. The bowler half stopped, but effective enough that there are no addition to the total. 85 for 3 in pursuit of 352 as Charles continue to bowl to Kato. Kato forward defensive, and there is no run. To resuming at 21 without loss. So there are always new listeners and viewers. Melius was caught pair of Brian Charles 6. Devon Smith caught Phillips of Brian Charles 17. And Kavem Hodge caught Mohammed of Imran Khan 15. This one he turning back into him. He defended quite nicely, and there is no run. The wicket fell at 25, 30 and 48. Ambrose has since moved on to 24. Kato on 19. Charles to Kato. Kato defends a straighter one, and they're going to get a comfortable single in the end. Comfortable single there at the end of the over. He's up to 20. It's 86 for 3. As this partnership is really crucial to the Windward Islands batting lineup, because what we have seen here so far doesn't give the indication that the rest of the batters are going to survive this type of bowling here for too long.
Well, it is the critical partnership for the Windwards. And one thing of note from the last game and this game, Cato seemed to be always there when during the crisis time. So perhaps he's the crisis manager within the squad, and he would be wrong, and he gets his 30s and 40s.
This one, he defended it out short on the offside, and Ambrose called him, and they ran very quickly indeed, and he get another single. He's up to 21. 21 to Cato, 24 to Ambrose, 87, the Australian boogie number. Can in. Here is Ambrose, exactly what Cato did. Checked it and ran quickly the moment the ball came off the bat. This is some sensible running here by both batsmen. 88 for the loss of 3. Khan will continue to bowl to Cato in a red helmet. Down the track he goes, and he stumped. It was on the cards. It definitely was on the cards. It's not easy to survive this thing. But Cato cannot continue to attack spinners like that and get away, especially when the ball is turning and bouncing. Easy, flighty delivery. Charged, Khan missed, and it was a very easy stumping for Ramdin.
Yes, and he played across the line. It's the leg spinner here. Was looking to take a turning ball, going off and trying to put it on the leg side. He missed, and you're not going to get away with Ramdin behind the stumps with that. It was really poor batting on the part of Cato, and perhaps I would have to stop making any comments because each time I do, the wicket falls. But we are saying that he has been one who has always been there as a crisis manager, and immediately after, he played something atrocious. So the Windwards losing 4 wickets this morning. It's still along with some 40 minutes to lunch at 88 for 4. Really, by early afternoon at the rate at where we are going, it might be over. It might be all over by the shouting.
Well, we'll just have to see how it goes, because the new man walking out is Alec Athanaze. Yeah, Athanaze is going. Yes, it is Athanaze. So, I think the Windwards are in even deeper trouble now, having lost Cato. Stump Ramdin of Imran Khan for 21, total 88. And I think the low order has now been exposed.
Definitely.
Against this type of bowling, it's not going to be easy.
What we have seen so far from the middle order in the last 2 games, the middle and lower order, they really have not given you much hope that this game would really go into late evening.
And the thing about it is, Khan is the chief, would be the chief destroyer to these lesser mortals who are going to bat. And he is going to give them real problems out there with it, bouncing and turning balls. And Charles himself is bowling a good line from that southern end, the off spinner.
Oh, definitely.
So it's a question now, how do you approach this?
So it's 2 wickets apiece for Khan and Cato.
As Khan now to bowl to the left-handed Alec Athanaze. This one outside the off stump, and he guides it down to third man. They should have one. Are they going to come for second? No. Ambrose holds up his hand like a policeman. Traffic police. He's on 25. Alec Athanaze and 189 for the loss of 4. And one gets the impression it's a matter of time.
Well, certainly it is.
To be honest with you. As Khan to Ambrose. And Ambrose driving this one again. A poor attempt at fielding by De Silva. The ball went under his hands. Another single to Ambrose. He's up to 26, 90 for 4. And De Silva doesn't give you the impression that he is one of the better fielders. He look like,
when you have a fielder like that, Gunny, where do you place him?
Where do you hide him? Where do you hide him? And here's Athanaze driving this one out to mid-off, and there's the run, the end of a successful over for Trinidad and Tobago, having taken the wicket of Cato, stump Ramdin off Khan for 21. You see, Charlo, I believe the man of dismissal it tells me they're not really mentally tuned 100% to the task that is ahead of them.
No, I am in agreement with you because the sort of approach and the sort of shot selection, it shows a lack of concentration, lack of that mental toughness, really trying to play each ball on its merit and doing what is right. We have seen how many of them trying to go across the line for the left hand, the leg spinner. And it is really a dangerous ploy to do to a leg spinner. More often, you're going to be top-edged. You're going to miss it. You're exposing yourself, so to speak.
Charlo, to be honest, sometimes when one says things as they are, it's the truthful things we are saying. It's questioning the intelligence of some of our cricketers. And here's Amber's driving it out to Charles, and there's no run. Sometimes it brings to mind, Charlo, the level of intelligence to play this game in this type of situation. Let them work for your wicket. You do not give them.
Exactly. We have been saying that for forever.
Ambrose walks this one down to a shortish long leg, and there is no run. 90 for 4. Another 262 more runs, 6 wickets with a long tail. To me, it's a matter of time. As Charles to Ambrose. Ambrose walks this one to the left now. Square on the onside. He gets another single. He rolls up to 27, and the total up to 91 for the loss of 4. And once Ambrose is off the strike, he himself is not really totally in control of the situation. The lesser likes are coming to bat, and it's very much like the NLA. Any number can play. But I am
to be a betting man.
No, I like to say things as they are. So it's two slips with the off spinner going across the left-handed Athanaze, and a silly mid on, and they are around them like vultures as Charles into Athanaze. This one hit the toe of the bat and ended up at second slip, and there is no runs. And with this ball turning across the left hand, it is not going to be easy from the spin, and he does have a doosra. Definitely. So he have to be very, very careful. What can Ambrose be telling Athanaze at this time, Charlo?
Tough it out. Tough it out.
I like it. TIO. Tough it out. Let's see if he really has that mental toughness to really grind it out. As Charles to Athanaze. This one forward defensive. He looks good with that one. Solid in defense there. Can he survive up until lunch? I am not really sure about it, but I believe he in his own mind will be saying, let me stay out and got it out, as you quite rightly said, in Charles. And this one is driven out to cover, and there is no run. 91 for the loss of 4. Athanaze on 1, Ambrose on 27, the end of the over, Charlo.
I would not want to pass any the mouth on Athanaze, but the way he got out in the first innings, it's still very fresh in my mind. It was the last over before lunch when he had that wild swing at Can and top edged it to mid wicket. So, and he has Can to contend with at this particular time.
And it's not close to lunch. It's a matter of what, about
35 minutes or so
before
to
lunch. As Can to Ambrose, forward defensive he goes, and there is no addition to the total. Ambrose seemingly, I believe, cricket is a selfish game, I believe he's batting for himself. That's the impression I'm getting. And he hits this one into the air. My goodness, I can't believe this. I don't know making the comment. They seem to be batting himself and settling, and he played at that one, lifted his head. The ball hit the outer portion of the bat, lobbed up for a dolly catch at cover, and what a man of dismissal as Ambrose goes. He's caught for 27, and the win was now in all sorts of contortions. Would this end before lunch?
Well, Gunny, I think it was a matter of time because he continued to go across the line for the leg spinner. And there it was. He was looking to hit that on the onside, took the leading edge and a dolly to the man at cover. And that's the nail, I would think, that is driven in the coffin. of the Windward Island Volcanoes?
Well, the point is, they lost just after lunch against Barbados on day 4. And it seems as if it's going in a general direction again as a repeat. 91 for the loss of 5, and Imran Khan continue to spin webs around the Windward Islands, 11-footed batsmen. As 2 wickets have fallen within this space of 2 overs, both gifting their wickets away.
It's really questionable, and you really ask yourself about the mental toughness and capacity of these guys. You see, Khan looking to play a psychological game there on Dennis Smith, who has walked out, and Smith just totally ignored him, which was the correct thing to do, and went straight and had a word with Athanaze. So Khan, and we could see Ramdin all of a sudden, it has become very, very attacking. Gunny, that all of the fielders basically are inside the 30-yard circle. So
the catcher. Who's that?
So Ramdin just setting that field.
Webster took the catch.
So
Webster is the one who took that catch. Now see he's been hemmed in even further. That's the new man. That's Dennis Smith. And there's 2 slips. He's hemmed in there, and Khan really has opened up, put the boys from among. So, you said it. And this one driven back to Khan by Smith, no run. Certainly, is the question, the difference between the men and the boys here. And with both ends open up now, chances are this game can finish before lunch. As Smith, under a lot of pressure, the ball is spinning, it's bouncing, it's turning, and Imran Khan, it is 3rd wicket. He has 3 for a scorer, 3 for 34. And despite the flurry of runs a couple of overs ago, everything has gone back to normal. This one, the forward defensive, and there is no addition to the total. Certainly, Imran Khan has been the tormentor of the Windwards Volcanoes batting lineup. In the first innings, 5 for 54. So far, 3 for 34, and 5 more wickets to tumble. This one forward defensive, no run. The pressure is really and truly on Athanaze and Smith. The little man from Grenada, Spice Isle, as Khan in, look for the googly, in. Again, it was a googly this time, and he defended it quite nicely. 91 for 5. Ambrose going at that over, gifting his wicket away. Really and truly doesn't look like a test player in these 2 games we saw here. Caught Webster off Imran Khan for 27, and Cater before him stump Ramdin off Khan for 21. What a calamity here at Annesville in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to listeners in Trinidad and Tobago. The boys apparently want to have a little party this afternoon before they leave tomorrow. Bearing in mind they're not going home. They're going to have their own little party here. Maybe I'm not too sure if anyone had a boogie last night. Maybe if there was a boogie tonight, they might have taken it. Because there's no cricket tomorrow. It's just to catch a plane and head on to Guyana. Charles in. And Athanaze forward defensive, pushed it back to the ball on the onside, and there is no run. 91 for the loss of 5. As Charles to Athanaze. Athanaze defended this one, and there is no additional total. Charlo again is very similar like Ambrose. He moves well inside his stumps in his crease. You just pay close attention. You will see exactly what I'm saying. He's moving before the spinner, but hands doesn't even come over. Forward defensive again. So what is the use of taking a guard? Your guard guides you as to where you're batting. So why you have to make all this pronounced movement? You can clearly see it, and more so from a spinner. Charles in. Athanaze forward again. There is no run. Maybe someone, when Ken Roy, you come in after this over, you will come in and we'll have to ask you being a left-hander, what's what in relation to that. But Charles is looking at magic machine. Charles in. Athanaze goes back and forth out to cover, and they're going to get a single. Webster did not pick up cleanly. So Athanaze goes off them. No, he's on 2. And it brings Smith in to strike. And Charlie, you'll get a little breather. Let Ken Roy will come in and go up to lunch. I realize he went for a very, very long breakfast. Maybe he went to boogie, I'm not too sure. So it's telling on his face, I'm not too sure. He said he have vehicular problems.
He has vehicular problems. We call in the mechanic.
Flight to delivery, defended by Smith. No run. Jalo, before you head off until after lunch.
Yes, yeah. I'm waiting.
No, I said before you head, because you will be back after lunch. It's now what, 27 minutes there about before lunch.
After lunch, the game will be wrapped up very quickly. So.
Well, we'll see how it goes. And let you get some expert comments from the left-handed Kenroy Martin, 590. I'll remember that number.
Million piece.
And here it is, driven in the air to the left of Khan. Khan is not going to catch those. They have to come straight. He's too slow. He's born for a long while there by Athanaze. But he's Trinidad and Tobago chief wicket taker, and he's continued to torment the Windwards batting here in the second innings. Khan to bowl to Athanaze on 2. And Athanaze looking to sweep that one out, pitched outside the leg stump. Half-hearted appeal here by Ramdin. And total remains 92 for the loss of 5. In pursuit of 352, another 62? No, 260. Forward defensive and studiously by Athanaze, and there is no run. Kenroy, the 260 is basically out of the question. There's no ifs and there's no buts. They're not going to get these runs here. Based on the fact they have lost their top 5. Down to the lower and tail. This one spun back at him. He was on the back foot and he stabs it out on the side. And there is no run. 92 for the loss of 5. As Khan continues 3 for 34 in.
Ugly.
And this one waits on this one, flighted, and is driven out to De Silva at a straightish mid wicket, and there is no run. 92 for 5. Windwards Volcanoes as Khan from this another end flighted, and this one again bounced, and he did well to pull away the bottom hand. My goodness, you're not going to survive here if you do not have proper technique. It's not easy. It's spinning, it's turning, it's bouncing. A couple are keeping a bit low. And this, since on day 1 we saw the pitch with this inconsistent bounce, but clearly on day 4 you expect the spinners to do what they're doing.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago in an excellent position. Having the win was 92 for 5, taking the 2 wickets just a while ago within half an hour. That is Ambrose and Cato. Really, they have given their wicket away to the Trinidadians. They were batting pretty nicely, and unfortunately, they have to go that way. But the saga continues for the Windward Islands and Trinidad. Trinidad has started basically the party, and well, they have started already. It's just a continuation.
Right. So right. As Brian Charles, the off spinner from a southern end in, and Smith defends on the back foot, and there is no run. Charles, can I think about it? The 2 batsmen who got out, I'd like to get your thoughts on the man of dismissal, Ambrose and the Cato. As Charles in. Down he goes and lifts this one deliberately over long off, and it is just crossed the boundary rope. Down the track to a flighty delivery there, and Smith decided, look, I'm going to have some fun. And he carted that one for a boundary. He goes up. He now goes off the mark. He now goes off the mark. And it's 4 runs to Smith. Athanaze is on 2. And I believe Brian Charles will enjoy that.
Well, he's chipping down the wicket. He's bowling flat. The ball is turning. That's a good sign for a spinner. He knows he's going to leave you somewhere.
Smith in. Goes again into the air, and as I said, he decided he's going to have some fun. Yeah, and that one hit the inner portion of the bat and flew out to deep backward square. Another boundary to Smith. He's up to 8, and the Windwards 100 finally is up. The Windwards 100 for 5 in pursuit of 300 and 135 minutes, 25 balls. 135 minutes, 232 minutes, 132 minutes. As Charles in. Sweeping this one sweeping this one to the man that's Khan. And there is no run. Well fielded by Khan, but it went straight to him basically.
Well fielded.
Yes, I accept that. Positive comments. As Charles and Smith giving the impression he's going to attack. In. Down it goes, and that one, whether it came off the pad or whether it was a little bit of a nick, I'm not too sure. We'll wait on the umpire's signal. And no, it's 2 runs. So Smith goes up to 10, and he's definitely attacking the off spinner.
Well, he's going to have a go. He's having
fun.
As I earlier said, you have to have a mindset as to what you want to do on a day like this. You have to be positive. You have to be positive as to how you're going to get your runs, and he's doing just that.
So he clips this one to the leg side again. It's going to go close to the boundary. It gone over the ropes. 4 more runs to Dennis Smith, and he's really and truly enjoying himself. He helped himself to the 3rd boundary. He's up to 14, 106 for the loss of 5, and he is fighting this bowling attack by being attacking aggressive to the spinners.
Yes, I don't blame him at all. He should continue on the positive note, really. Windwards 106 for 5. The 2 last recognized batters, I think he should really have a positive intent, play the ball on its merit. He has done that. He hasn't really played a shot that is would have caused him his wicket and put Trinidad under some pressure. If you can.
I don't think they're under no pressure because there are a lot of runs to play with.
If you can, yes.
If it was 152 to get 200 to get, but it's 352.
They could be positive, just be selective.
Khan in to Athenaeus. This one driven up to straightish mid-wicket, then fielded there by Joshua De Silva. And there is no run. 106 for the loss of 5. Khan to bowl to Alec Athenaeus. Athenaeus looking to play that one. It fell between the 2 fielders, the leg slip and the silly mid on. We're not too sure if he got a tickle or not. We're not sure. But he has survived. 106 for 5, and he seems to be more intent on rather trying to survive, defend. There is a defending again as against Smith, who is definitely given the impression that he's going to attack the slow bowling. As you said, maybe have some fun. Why not? Khan in. Down he goes and hits this one. Lovely shot. A lot of control on that one. Through the covers. I believe it has enough to go past the rope. It does now. 4 runs there to Athenaeus. Flighted outside the off stump, and he really, to me, caressed it to the cover boundary for 4. 110 for the loss of 5. A good shot there by Athenaeus.
Yeah, sweet looking shot there by Athenaeus. He chipped, he got to the pitch of it, the leg spinner, and he really just caressed it through the covers, and the ball just run on off on the outfield into the fence for a really beautiful shot by Athenaeus.
Could you have done it better being a left-hander yourself?
No, please. Excellent shot.
Gone in. This one's sweeping and striking him on the pad. Umpire Tuckett says not out. And he survives. 110 for the loss of 5. Ken, what do you think about it? The way the ball is spinning, turning across you, it's not going to be easy to survive. So, as you quite rightly said, why not have fun? Be positive and have some fun.
Yes, just be selective as you go about your innings, really. And get as much runs as possible. 352 to get. We only could get it is being positive.
Back he goes up into the air, looking to sweep that one. It's gone past the leg slip, and they're going to have 2 more to the total. 2 more runs there to Athenaeus. He's up to 8. 112 for 5. But you're going back to the man of dismissal. I'd like your comments on each of them, Cato and Ambrose.
Cato, really uncalled for. It's a shot that it would not play against a leg spinner. He came down the wicket, went across the line of the ball. It spun across him. And once it's spinning, it would go leave you. You have to get close to that ball, and it was really called for. He was batting well, and he gifted his wicket away. Ambrose, he did the same thing as well. And those two shots are uncalled for, really. And you're batting, you have lost the top order already. You're the middle order. You should be setting a nice foundation for others. You have a whole day to bat. Those shots weren't called for, really.
What about their mental toughness? I hold it. Charles in, and Smith tickles this one on the onside, fielded that short leg there, no run, 112 for 5. They're so far away from their victory target, and Ramden realizes he has a lot of cushion. There he goes outside the off stump, looking for a big drive, an expansive drive.
Thing is, Gunny, on a day like this, when you have a target like that, your mind have to be set as to what you want to do and how you're going to do it. Unless you do that, you're going to fail in your efforts.
Charles to Smith. Smith goes back and guides that one, and well stopped at first slip there. No addition to the total. Kenroy, the thing about it is, I believe mental toughness is really lacking with our batsmen. They're not prepared to gut it out, despite the ball spinning. Flighted. Smith goes back and tugs this one down to that's Scan, and there is no run. You have to learn to be confident, self-confident. I can survive here. You have to be tough. Charles in. Back he goes and defends it to the bowler. No run, 112 for 5. And clearly the Windward Islands batting lineup is found wanting against this all spin attack. As we said, that since yesterday it will be a diet of slow bowling. Charles in. Smith tickles this one on the onside. No run, the end of a maiden over, and certainly the pressure is being maintained by Charles.
Gunny, on a day like this, when you have a target as that, you have to break down the game session by session.
Become like square pegs in wrong holes.
But they have done it. Windward Islands have done it before.
Can in. The conditions is different today as to some other days towards getting 300, 350.
But yes, Stanley, on a day like this, you have to break down the game in sessions.
I am in agreement with you to plan your strategy. I am in agreement with you. Can to Athens for our defensive again, and there is no run. The point is, if you do not have that type of mindset that you can do it, you're doomed to failure. As Can from this top end, back goes Athens, clips this one off his leg down to backward square, and he collects a single. He goes up now to 9. He brings Smith and 14 to face the music, the chin music out of TNT in Imran Khan and Brian Charles. 113 for 5, and not too far away from lunch. So there's another good old saying, where there's life, there's hope.
Always, not a good old saying. It's the truth.
Khan to Smith. And Smith did this one. Wonderful shot by Smith.
Bounce.
Flighted on his legs, and he went down on one knee and swept it sweetly in front of the president's suite for another boundary. Really, probably the best shot he has played, and maybe the shot in the morning.
Yes, a very positive shot there by Smith. He had played 3 in the over before, and you see continuing his positiveness, and he really played a nice shot through mid-wicket. Got down on his knees, and Hansi Crannier style hitting it over mid-wicket into the fence before Windwards move up to 117 for 5, being positive.
Yes, they're very positive, and it wasn't any risk in that shot. It was a safe shot, well executed by the little wicketkeeper from Spice Isle, Grenada. Good morning to our viewers, listeners in Grenada. As Charles in, back stands up, there's Athens, and there's no run. Good morning to our listeners there on Carnival Sunday in Roseau, Dominica, Portsmouth, Macrouchouin. As Charles goes back and he attempted to cut, misses, taken by Ramden, and there is no run. Your favorite village in Dominica is where, Kenroy? I know you roamed a lot whilst you were in Dominica. As Charles in Forward defensive, he goes, running it out to on the offside. Yes, let's see what's Village.
I like the Carib territory.
Point Michel, Carib territory. What attracted you there in the Carib territory? What good attraction?
The culture.
Oh, the culture.
Yeah.
Forward defensive, and there is no run. The culture in the Carib territory.
Yeah, lovely. I love the way they live, man. Together, one family. Beautiful.
As Charles in, Athenaeus forward defensive, no run, keeping the pressure on.
Still have a chief, you know.
What's the name of the chief? Can you remember his name? Charles, the off spinner from a southern end. Athenaeus forward defensive, the end of a maiden over there by Charles. Total remain 117 for 5. St. Lucia, what's your favorite village? Dennery, Choiseul. Good morning to listeners also in St. Lucia.
I like the fast. I like the fast era.
Grosile?
Of course.
These eras tend to attract Kenroy Martin. Grosile with a Friday night lime, big lime there at
Grosile has a lot to offer. That's what I like about Grosile.
I went up to Dennery.
Highly developed.
I went up to Dennery a Friday night, and it was wonderful in Dennery.
Yeah, Dennery is pretty nice. My brother
nice.
was living there for a number of years. I've visited there. It's very nice as well.
Real nice. The activities at night real make you want to stay longer.
Culture.
The culture. That is so correct. It isn't funny. Fish night, really wonderful. Goes back, defends, and there is no run. And you know what I actually tasted in Dennery? I tried to taste how they prepare the blackfish that came from SVG. As Khan to Smith. Smith hit this one with a horizontal bat out there to Mohammed.
It's like Pierre. Mohammed.
And he gets a single. So he's up now to 19. He brings Athenaeus a 9-1-18 for the loss of 5. But certainly they prepared it different to Vinci style, but I enjoyed it. Forward defensive, full face of the bat, no run. And it's so interesting, that you are eating your own stuff in another man's country, and the way they prepared it totally different. But it had a wonderful taste. This one is looking to hit that one on the leg side. It seemed to hit the bottom portion of the bat. And Smith looking for a third run, but Athenaeus is not interested. I believe he got a bat onto it. He did. So he goes up now to 120 for 5. Windward Islands in pursuit of 352. As Smith to bowl to Athenaeus, and this one striking him apart as he looked to repeat the shot. No addition to the total, 120 for 5. And in Grenada, did you enjoy the oil dung?
Yeah, man, wonderful.
This one is striking on the pad, and there's an appeal for caught. Umpire says not out. The appeal for bat pad, and umpire Tuckett says no. 120 for 5 at the end of that over.
Yes, a good appeal here. Trinidad went up. Confident appeal, not outside umpire Tucker. He has been unmoved for a pretty long time. He's very solid in his decision making. When he says not out, it's not out. When he said it's out, it's out. So that's good on the umpiring.
Yes, in Dominica, did you enjoy the Sunday morning fashion? I roamed, because I wanted to enjoy the culture of those countries. There's something they call fashion right across the Roseau Bridge. Yes. A nice little
I didn't get that one. A
little watering hole is there.
I didn't get that one.
Some fashion and...
Yeah, I stayed in Grenville, the oil down. Love it, man. Love the salt food,
Charles to Smith. Smith goes back and tugs this one down to Khan at deep backward square. He goes up now to 20. 11 to Athenaeus, 121 for the loss of 5. And the winners have scored 100 in this session.
Yes.
They started at 21 without loss and now 121 for 5.
Positivity.
As Charles into Athenaeus plays this one up to cover, and there is no run. We can see the slackening off of the intensity of the Trinidad and Tobago.
At the beginning of the day, Stanley, it's not really about survival. It's playing tactical cricket.
Charles to Athenaeus. This one driven up to long mid-off and the mid-on, and there's no run.
Session by session, hour by hour. That's how you get through a day like this.
As Charles to bowl to Athenaeus. Goes back, stands up, and pushes it out. No addition, the total 121 for 5, and we're very close to lunch. Maybe another 7 minutes thereabout. 2 overs, maybe 3 maximum. Charles into Athenaeus. Athenaeus, my goodness, looking to drive that one. It spun across him. Rammed in, did not collect cleanly. The effects of the boogie. As Charles in, Athenaeus beaten outside the off stump with a good one. Kenroy, maybe the effects of the boogie as to our left here.
It was very good. The boogie was very good. Guy, the man on the right could tell you that. A beautiful show last night. Lovely.
121 for 5. Windward Islands in pursuit of 352. They have lost Melius for 6, Smith 17, Hodge 15, Ambrose 27, Cato 21. Can will continue 121 for 5, 11 to Athenaeus, 20 to Smith. But certainly, Kenroy, I had a couple of oil dongs in Grenada. Absolutely marvelous food to eat. Can in, Smith defends, and there is no run. Dominica, that Sunday morning, remind you of the good old days in SVG. You know, I'll be honest with you. Smith faces Khan, he pushes it out, and there is no run. You see a couple of people still at mornings in Dominica selling their fresh produce, the greens, plenty greens, and a lot of fashion around.
Nature Isle.
Khan in, back he goes, defends, and there is no run. 121 for 5. And at our good friend in Grenada, the nutmeg, got a wonderful way of preparing conchs. Wow. Can in, back he goes, it's a googly, he defends it, and the total remains 121 for 5. But certainly, Kenroy, once you are traveling, you ought to try to indulge in that country's eateries, culture, everything.
Well,
the same way you enjoy the Carib country.
Delicacies.
Flighted again, and he defends. Maybe he's playing for lunch, and there is no run. 121 for 5. Once you get into this defensive mode, Kenroy, you probably can make the mistake, because he's been very attacking, showing positive signs, and he should continue in that vein, because none of the bowlers, Charles nor Kenroy, really troubling him.
Well,
Suddenly he's gone into this dour mode. Maybe he realized lunch is near. Maybe, I'm not sure. Can to bowl to Smith. Smith goes back and defends it quite nicely. The end of a second successive maiden over, 121 for 5, just a couple of minutes before lunch.
Well, he has caused Canto change his bowling approach.
As a matter of fact, it's lunch.
Yeah, he's changed his bowling approach. He's bowled flat and fast, and that's the luncheon period here at Arnesville playing
Lunch
field.
came as we were speaking about the eateries and the delicacies in the different Windward Islands.
Well, Windwards 121 for 5 here at Arnesville at lunch, looking for a target of 352. They have lost 5 wickets this morning. The wicket of Smith for 17, Melius for 6, Cato for 21, Hodge for 15, and Skipper Ambrose for 27. Here at lunch, Windward Islands 121 for 5. 121 for 5 in sort of a target of 352, and therefore trying to survive, trying to get to 352. What is the plan, Stanley Hines?
Yes, so as the Windwards resumed this morning, 21 without loss, and they quickly lost wickets. Melius caught pair of Brian Charles, 6, he went to 25. Devon Smith caught Phillips off Brian Charles, 17, he went to 30. At 48, it was Kavem Hodge caught Mohammed Bowl Imran Khan, 15. Then at 88, it was Cato Stump Ramdin off Imran Khan, 21. And at 91, Sunil Ambrose caught Webster off Imran Khan, 27. Alec Athenaeus is on 11. Dennis Smith is on 20. This pair has so far added 30 runs for this wicket, and bowling for TNT Red Force, and Anderson Phillips 7 overs 2 maidens, none for 16. Brian Charles, the off-spinner, 22 overs 7 maidens, 2 for 49. And Imran Khan, 13 overs 3 maidens, 3 for 48. What do you think that should be the approach after lunch?
Well, I've said it before. They have to be positive. They have to take every session by session. You really can't play for survival in the middle of the day. Really, that is out of the question. You have to play positive. You have to beat the bad balls. You have to pick up the ones and twos and put Trinidad under whatever pressure you can, so that they could change their tactics. You have to really cause them to think differently. If the Windies could do that, then you could see a change in this game.
You still hope out? Are you still really do hope that they can reach 352?
Well, Trinidad has had partnerships in the 5th wicket, the 7th wicket, and they have scored over 100 plus runs. Windies could do the
You're
same.
thinking positive.
Yeah,
they can
Windies
get
could do
these
the
runs
same.
to get 231 more runs in 2 sessions.
Yeah, just the mindset, and you could make it.
Okay, Mr. Charles.
And then we get down to the evening period, and you probably look at survival.
Hope springs eternal. So we'll be back with our viewers and listeners at 20 to 1.
Welcome to Annisville playing field where we here with the battle continues between Trinidad Red Force and the Windward Islands Volcanoes as Charles taking up the bowling from the southern end where he's been bowling all morning really. He's bowling to Athenaeus who just pushes that one to the man at short extra cover. Windward Islands resuming at 121 for 5. Charles in and Athenaeus is forward in the approved manner. Plays it nicely to the man at silly point. Trinidad has implemented another slip as Charles around the wicket, right arm into Athenaeus. That one is outside the off stump. He punches that to the man at backward point. Khan, who's doing the fielding there. The score remains at 121 for 5. Windwards in pursuit of a target of 352. Athenaeus stands up straight and punches to the man at short extra cover. Mohammed, he tosses it back to the bowler. Charles passes the umpire again. Flighted delivery on the leg stump and he just comes forward and push it out and Charles does the fielding. The score remains on 121 for 5. Here at Annisville in nice conditions. There are hardly some clouds in the sky. All blue skies. Charles, flighted delivery and Athenaeus is forward. Plays it back to Charles. That brings the end of the first over after lunch. Windward Islands 121 for 5. 121 for 5 in pursuit of 352. Stanley Hines is here in the studios with me.
Yes, Kenroy, good afternoon. 23 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 49. Brian Charles, long spell, good tight bowling from the southern end. 23, 8, 49, 2. Imran Khan, 13, 3, 48, 3. 13, 3, 48. As Khan, he will pick it up after lunch here. Windward scored exactly 100 in 2 hours before lunch. So the scoring rate was not really a matter of a problem. It's just a matter of the 5 wickets, which makes all the big difference. Which shows that they were going positively. It's just that they gifted the wickets at crucial junctures. Khan in. Smith forward defensive. Outrun this one down to third man. Quickly wrong is Mohammed and there is no rotation in total. 121 for 5 in pursuit of 352. Imran Khan, the right arm leg spin bowler from the top end. To Smith, the little wicketkeeper, goes back, forces it in the same area, same result. Total remains 121 for 5. 11 to Athenaeus, 20 to Dennis Smith. Slip, backward point, extra cover, mid-off, long on, straightish mid-wicket and silly mid-on and a man at the mid-wicket boundary. This one, he walks this one a lot of space. They're going to get at least 2 here comfortably. As you see, Ramden already chasing for it. But Ramden chased it as there's no one between silly mid-on and deep mid-wicket. And that one was tucked around to a fine leg and they got 2 runs there. So 22 to Dennis Smith, 22, 123 for a loss of 5, 123 for 5. Here at the Annisville playing field in lovely St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the best piece of real estate in the whole world. If you want to enjoy it, come to SVG. The airport is open up, the seaports are open up. Come and visit and enjoy what is there on offer. Don't forget the exquisite Grenadines. Wonderful, maybe the 8th wonder of the world. As Khan goes, he defends as a googly and he defended quite nicely and there is no run. So I believe the Trinidadian will put in a better effort now after lunch, after being refreshed with lunch, having had a good lunch I assume, as they're going to put a big effort in here to try and break this partnership and see how quickly they might be able to wrap up this game. Smith has other ideas. That one spun and bounced on him and he did well to pull away the bottom hand. And it fell just in front of him. But certainly that one bounced on him. But Smith and Athenaeus having put up a front thus far, having other ideas to see how far they can stretch the Trinidadians. Back he goes and slaps this one nicely. And it's well stopped there at cover point, diving away to his left. He gets another single. That's Smith. He's up to 23. 123 for 5 as 124. 124 for the loss of 5 at the end of that over.
Yes, we see the positive intent coming out from Smith again. The bad deliveries, he's looking to put them away. But Khan is getting some serious assistance from this wicket, some bunks and turn really. And you see he caused some problems for Smith as well. So another thing to look at from the Trinidad standpoint, something positive. Khan is getting some serious assistance from this wicket.
Charles, a nice cross breeze here at Annesville. Waiting on Smith as he did a bit of a gun in there. This one driven nicely through the covers. They're going to get some runs here. Does it have enough to cross the rope? They've gone for 1. They've gone for 2. They're coming back for 3. And I believe if they really sprint, they will get the 4th run. But Athene says no, but the 4th was really on. The 4th was really on. By the time Smith was looking for the 4th run, the fielder did not have the ball in his hands, and he should have taken the 4th run. But he chose otherwise. 3 runs to Smith from a nice cover drive. Flighty delivery, and he opened the face and really hit it sweetly towards the Frank Thomas Pavilion, the cover area. 3 more, 127 for the loss of 5. Charles to bowl now to Athene, the left-hander. Athene goes back on that one, bonks and turn. I believe it hit the bowler's foot mark, but it certainly bonks and turn, and he pulled away and Ramdin took it across his chest. That's the type of assistance that is happening on this pitch. Flighted closer to Athene's defense, and the total remains 127 for the loss of 5. Putting up a fight here for the 6th wicket, Athene's and Dennis Smith. In. This one, a wrong middle stump, and he defends nicely, and there's no run. Charles, the off spinner, with 2 slips and a silly mitt off. To bowl to Athene's. Oh my goodness, he's gotten away there. He played at it, took the edge, and it flew past the Monday at 2nd slip. Airborne. Didn't get a hand to it, and 2 more runs to Athene's, fortuitous runs, but nevertheless, he's still there. 129 for the loss of 5, but certainly it flew to the left. That fielder there is Udian Smith. And we see they're pointing now, but his reflexes are a bit too slow for that one. Charles into Athene's. Athene's, this one driven back to the bowler. End of another over, 129 for 5 as Trinidad and Tobago in the form of Charles and can continue to see how soon they can effect a breakthrough, and they're being denied and defied by Athene's and Smith.
Another challenging over there being bowled by Charles to Athene's, hitting the outer portion of the bat and eluding the man Smith at 2nd slip really. And the bowlers keep doing what they're doing and beating the batters, hitting the edges and asking questions of the batters and creating the opportunities for Trinidad and Tobago.
Serious questions being asked by Khan and Charles, but they are surviving.
Yes, they are.
As Khan awaits Smith, who settles the little man from Grenada. Good afternoon to your friends there in Grenada. This one here is a googly, and it kept a bit low, and Smith, because of the slow pace of the pitch, he was able to defend it, but it kept low, and it was the googly. Khan 3 for 48 thus far, as back to his short run up to bowl to Smith. Smith goes back and tugs this one out to mid-on. There's a leg spinner on the off stump, and he tugged it across the line. He gets another single. He rolls up now to 27. Athene's on 13. It's 130. 130 for the loss of 5 wickets. Still a long way off. 221 more. It will take the biggest upset in regional cricket for this to happen here today. Back he goes, and he forces it out to short extra cover, and there is no run. Kenway, do you think they have that self-confidence that they can bat this session go in, have a cup of tea, and come back and after tea. This one forward defensive. Athene is showing stout defense, and there is no additional total. 130 for 5, asked to get 352. The better batters are all out. Melius for 6, Smith 17, Hodge 15. This one outside the off stump, and he runs this one square in the offside. Another single to Athanasis. He's up to 14, 131 for the loss of 5, 131 for 5. That's made a partnership of 40 thus far for the 6th wicket in pursuit of 352. The right-handed Smith, he's less aggressive since lunch. Just before lunch, he was really playing shots all around the place, but he's become becalmed, not too sure if he's batting to instructions. Sometimes you see players free themselves up, enjoy themselves, can in, and he tucks this one on the leg side. They should get 2 here. 1. Smith is looking for second. Again, Athene says no. Smith look like a little busybody there. He's really looking for whatever he can get. Only a single, 132 for 8. Kenroy certainly Athens needs to lift the game.
Well, I think this between two persons. If he says no, he says no. You can't run it on your own. But Smith looking rather busy, still positive, but he's more selective when it comes to his shots. I think he's a little bit more circumspect in respect of the way he approached the game earlier the period before lunch. He looks more circumspect in this innings, and hopefully for Windwards he carries on.
Well, he's carrying on now against Charles, who's coming from the southern end. Passes umpire Houghton, and he swept this one away nicely down to Khan at deep backward square. A single. He rolls up now to 29. 29 has become the top scorer in the Windward Islands Volcano second innings. 29 from the little wicketkeeper from Grenada. 133 for the loss of 5. Charles to Athanasis. And Athanasis pushes this one up to extra cover. And there is no run. That big game in England, Colville, Everton, Liverpool. Check it for us. Back he goes and forces it to the right of square cover point. Another single. And the runs are coming quite easily, I should say. They are picking the gaps and they're getting the singles, the twos, and scoreboard keep rolling over. 135 for the loss of 5. 216 more to get 5 wickets intact. Charles to Smith, and Smith works this one out and onside out to a straightish mid wicket, and there is no run. 135 for 5. Windward Islands Volcanoes in pursuit of 352. Charles to Smith. Smith works that one in the air past Joshua De Silva. Those that stick or don't stick. But at the end of the day, it's another single. And he's up now to 30. 136 now for the loss of 5. 135 for the loss of 5. As Charles to bowl to Athanasis. Athanasis is out caught. That was on the cards. He played and missed. Finally, he played at one that was a bit closer. He took the edge into second slip, and he's gone.
Well, a soft dismissal there by Athanasis, really. A ball which was pitched just on the off stump. Athanasis just launched forward. The ball hit the outer portion of the bat. Easy catch to the man at second slip. And Trinidad has picked up their 6th wicket. Windward Islands are in some serious trouble here. Gunny Hines looking down the barrel of the gun, and only 4 wickets to go. Athanasis walks back slowly. Smith is still there, but we smell a close finish here. Early finish, Gunny Hines?
Well, it appears that way. Once you're down to number 7 and 8, because next in should be Ray Jordan.
Yes, and I spoke about it earlier. You can't be playing for survival in the middle of the day. Really, you have to be positive. You have to have some intent about your batting, and we didn't see that from Martinez. He played a lovely cover drive, really. And after that, he went back into his shell and never really looked like he wanted to get amongst the runs, and he fell victim to defensive play.
So they have lost that wicket, but credit to them, they added 45 for the 6th wicket.
Yes, and that came about basically because of Smith's aggressive nature, and he wanted to score some runs. Martinez just was there occupying the crease, but unfortunately, he has edged it to the man at second slip. Ray Jordan joins Smith, and Windward Islands 136 for 6, looking at that mama total of 352, very, very far away off. So Khan will take up the bowling from this end. He'll be bowling to Smith, who has carried himself to 30, and Windward Islands 136 for 6.
The catcher there was Carey Pear. So Athenaeus goes caught Pear off Brian Charles for 15, 136 for 6. A matter of 4 wickets now, 216 runs, Ken, all right? Still gettable. Back goes Smith and hit this one out cover, and there is no runs. But realistically, is it on?
Well, yeah, that's St. Jamaica from Trinidad batting at number 7.
You're a real police officer.
So it could happen here as well.
Can in. Back he goes and hits this one past cover. They're going to go close to the boundary here. 1. They're coming for a second. The fielder picks it up, and he's going to return that to Ramden. Now he returned it to the bowler's end. So 2 more there to Smith. He's up to 32. And 137 for the loss of 6 wickets. Can in. And Smith played at this one. It took the outer portion of the bat, flew past first slip. Not by any means a chance, but close enough to the first slip. Another 2, another double. He's up by 2 to 34. 139 for the loss of 6. As Khan is basically peeling the edges off, but unfortunately he's not getting, that ball is not going into the hands of none of the fielders, falling short of fielders. But he appears at every delivery towards wrapping up the Windwards tail. As Khan now, this slip cordon has been strengthened. In. Back he goes, and miss taken by Ramden. No run, 139 for the loss of 6. And Ramden meticulously setting the cover fielder and backward point in specific positions. As Khan in. This one to Smith, certainly a googly there, and you can see the first slip with Smith. That's Odian Smith. Giving him a round of applause for good delivery, googly, but equal to the task. Smith, Dennis Smith, flighted. This one bounce and turn, another googly, it bounce and turn, taken by Ramden. The end of another over, 139 for 6, Windward Islands.
Yes, another very good over there by Khan, hitting right there as asking Smith to play a couple of shots. He was pretty lucky to get through with that one that went through the slip cord, and he picked up 2 runs from that. And Windward Islands move up to 139 for 6. Smith moves on to 34, and he's been joined by Ray Jordan in the lower order. What would he do from here on in?
Well, you have said it already, Kenora. You cannot stay out and just, plod along. Be positive. Try and get some runs. Defeat is there in your team, yes, but you still continue to be positive. It's much wiser to end up with 200 and whatever it is. They may lose by, 180, but it's better than punch, because eventually the one is going to come. And you will find yourself in problems. So once you allow the bowler to get on top of you, these things can happen. You have to try and get him off his line. Smith in. No, this one is Charles to Jordan on the back foot, defense, and there's no run. He's not off the mark as yet. 34 to Dennis Smith. Charles to bowl to Jordan. That one seemed to have struck him on the front pad, bobbled into the air. No alarms, anything of the sort. Jordan looking to do some type of gardening. I know he's living in Overland, an area where it produces a lot of food and fruits, vegetables. Charles in, and he hits this one into the air. He's going to fall short. Imran Khan, as usual, we know how it is with him. Looking to hit that one, taking the edge up into the air. A more Lord Fields man rather than Khan would have certainly gobbled that one, Kenroy.
It fell between two fielders. They never get close to any one of them. Really, we know Khan is not pretty quick in the field. So, fortune favor the brave. Rick Jordan is off the mark. 140 for 6. Another chance go begging.
Listen, it can go down as a chance. Technically, yes, but it struck no one's hand, because if it were you fielding, I'm certain you would have made a better effort because of your level of fitness. And you got to be fit based on your profession.
Athletic ability.
As Charles in, he works this one. That's Smith out to square leg to Khan. Another single to him. He rolls up now to 35. He's up to 35. It brings Jordan and 1 into strike. 141 for the loss of 6. As Charles from the southern end, the off spinner, creating some problems here for the batsmen. Ray Jordan stands up, and the spin takes it out, and the onside, the end of another over there from Charles. 141 for 6. Small matter of 211 runs, young man.
Well, it may be small, but it's a hard task to get for a number 8, 9, 10 for the Windward Islands. And if the top order can't get it, then it will be a difficult task for them, even more difficult for them than the top order. So, Windwards 141 for 6. Target of 352. Smith is batting well on 35. Jordan has joined him. He just got off the mark there. And Khan will continue from this end, bowling his leg spin googlies, and he's been getting a lot of assistance from the wicket.
Khan to bowl Smith. Smith forward defensive, back to the bowl, and there's no run. Lovely, lovely conditions here in SVG at the Yannisville Sports Complex. Good afternoon to listeners in Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad, most of Trinidad and Tobago. Khan in. That one went right through him. On the back foot, it went spun across him into the gloves of Ramdin. It is Carnival Sunday afternoon in TNT. Everybody warming up, maybe having a bit of a rest to continue. This one is, my goodness, why not try? Here it is, opened up, looking to hit that one, caught it somewhere out of the ground, misses, taken cleanly by Ramdin, and there is no run. That one is a teaser from Khan, not Beckett's teaser. This one, oh my goodness, there's a strong appeal for caught behind. Not out, says the umpire. That one spun and bounced. How he survived, I really am not sure, but Ramdin thought he got a nick and he appealed, and umpire took it, shook his head, says, not out. As maybe a little bit of a word from Ramdin to upset Smith. Maybe saying, you nick it, why didn't move? These little things, sometimes get the better of batsmen. In. This one, he casts this one down to deep squares, getting close to the boundary, but it's being chased around. They have 1, they have 2, they're coming for a 3rd run, quite comfortably taken in the end. So 3 runs there to Smith. He goes up to 38, 144 for the loss of 4. And why not Smith try to get a bigger total as possible the way things are going? Why not?
Well, he have to remain positive as the way he is. Just bat right through the innings, keep looking for runs, take the opportunities when they present themselves. And he will get a lot of runs here. The opportunity is here to do it. So make use of it and score heavily.
144 for the loss of 6. 144 for 6. First inning, Jordan got, I think it's 20 odd. Khan in. And here is Jordan pushing it out, and there is no run. He got 22. As a matter of fact, it's a misfield. As I turn my head, a misfield to Jordan to that shot there from Ray Jordan, one more run, he's up to 2 in the first innings. He got 22 before he went caught pair of Brian Charles for 22. He was one of the wickets that fell, a cluster of wickets fell in 196. So he shows he can get, his 20s, and maybe the right approach can get, another 20. You never know how much further he can go, but it's really up against ball that are spinning. The thing about it, you do not really have this sharp turn, but they are turning slowly, except those when they hit the bowler's foot marks, they are spinning prodigiously and jumping. Charles in. And this one, he squares up Jordan. He defended it. And there is no run. 145 for the loss of 6. Jordan, he is on 2 and 38. Smith. Charles into Jordan. Jordan stands. Short man stands right on the back foot. Defended it out on the onside, and there's no addition to the total. Charles in. This one striking him on the pad, but spinning across him. No appeal. Total remains 145 for the loss of 6. And certainly what Charles needs to do is to have these balls flighted on the off stump, and let's see how he will respond to that. Charles to Jordan. That's exactly what I'm just saying. Flighted, and let's see how he responds. He responded with a nice drive, but straight to mid-off, and there is no addition to the total. 145 for 6. Jordan faces Charles. This one bounced. Again, what it struck, was it his forearm, his mitten, or what? It hit something, and it fell before it got to first slip in Smith. Charles to Jordan, in. This one on the leg stump, the end of another over, maiden. Total remain 145 for 6.
Well, we see some assistance being offered from the wicket here to the spinners. It's been jumping around, turning, and the batters are actually finding it difficult to negotiate those sort of bowling here now. And the Windwards Islands are down to the lower order. And Trinidad and Tobago really in the driver's seat here. 145 for 6 Windwards Islands. It's only a matter of time, Stanley Hines.
Khan will continue to see what he can do for TNT, and his Smith will be denying him for the Windwards Islands. 2 slips, backward point, extra cover, cover mid-off. Khan settles in. And here is another paddle sweep. I believe this one will get some more runs. Whether it will reach the boundary, yes or no, I'm not sure. They have 1. They're coming for a 2nd. And they have taken a 3rd run. As I said before, there's lots of space between silly mid on and the wrong to mid wicket. And he swept that one nicely along the ground in front of the Frank Thomas Pavilion to a right. And he goes up by 3 to 41, 147. 147 is it, Bev? 148 for the loss of 6. Brings Jordan, the lesser like, to face Khan. Forward defensive, he allowed that one to come onto the bat. No addition to the total. As Khan continues this attack from another end. Jordan forward defensive. No addition to the total. He is on 2. Smith is on 41. Yes, 41. And the Trinidadians just biding their time basically. But they're really down into the tail. But they're not really pressing as much as they can because some of these deliveries are just bouncing and turning and missing the bat. And here is Jordan looking to wind up to put that one maybe in overland. But he checked the shot and there is no run. It will take a lot of doing to take this delivery. He was aiming to hit somewhere in overland, take a lot of willpower and strength. Can in. This time he struck on the pad and he's out LBW. This one is a googly. Jordan pushed forward, striking him on the pad. The appeal went up, and umpire Tuckett had no hesitation in lifting that finger. And Imran Khan strikes again. Up goes the dreaded finger. LBW to Imran Khan for 2, 148. Now for the loss of 7. And it's cutting times, Ken, right? Getting nearer and nearer.
Oops, I did it again. There goes that index finger up from the umpire. Tuck it really from Leeward Islands as Ray Jordan walks with his back under his arm slowly back to the pavilion. Windward Islands 148 for 7. Really, just a matter of time, Gunny, before this game comes to an end. And the writing is on the wall. I see you doing your summary already. Wow. Stanley Hines. As Edwards walks in briskly.
Well, to be honest with you, Ken Roy, Sherman Lewis, the impression one gets from the time that he spent out in the middle, he's going to play shots. He's not going to go in there and just defend with sour defense. He is going to play shots, except instructions are given to him, right, to play otherwise. But generally, number 9, come on, you're not trying to save a game with 2 overs to go.
That's your thoughts, Mr. Hines. The instructions will be different.
But I know what I'm saying. Instructions, he may very well have to bat the instructions. I accept that.
The instructions are to bat the rest of the evening.
As the new man in his lowest, I would not respond to that. He doesn't have the capability of batting for the rest of the afternoon. He just doesn't have it. So to me, it makes more sense to have fun. Simple as that.
As the flag flatters on the left side of the playing field, looking very nice, Trinidad and St. Vincent together. Famalele.
Khan to bowl to the number 9, Sherman Lewis. There's a 2 slips, silly made off, and I think that's a serious position. To Lewis, and Lewis just exactly what I said he's going to do. A very aggressive shot. That is the intent of that is the man. Why at number 9, 10 you're going to just sort of try to delay the inevitable? You have almost 2 full sessions. Why not have fun? You may hit a Billy 50. Who knows? And it's your eternal credit.
He could be fined in Gunny Hines.
Well, the fine is some. The fine is some small.
Disobeying instructions of the coach and the management.
The fine
could
is.
Be fined about 50-60% of your match.
That can't happen. Appeal it. So, Charles.
Are you the lawyer?
Of course, I love to be the lawyer. Because I'm certainly will put up a case. Strong case too, and you'll be the prosecutor.
You're fighting a losing battle, Mr. Hines.
So it will be Charles from the southern end, and he'll be bowling now to Smith, who is all along, he's up to 41. Charles in, and this one he forced it out to a cover point, then they're going for a quick single. Well run between the 2 Grenadians. So Sherman Lewis to face 42 to Dennis Smith. They are teammates. I wonder if they 2 play for the same parish in St. George in Grenada. I'm not too sure. And he's charged them. I suspect he's going to play some kind of a cameo, you know. That's the nature of the man. He came down, charged him, and he was able to get the bat on it, and it out wide of 4 slip. 2 more runs, or 2 runs he's off the mark by Sherman Lewis, and the intentions is clear.
Mr. Killer said pick up something. He's picking up something. Anything.
Edwards in. Forward defensive, and there's no run. You know, there's shadowing Trinidad this carnival time. I come out to play. 185 minutes for the 150. 302. Back goes and brilliantly taken by Pierre. Brilliant catch there. Spun across him, he flicked it, and a good low to his left diving catch by Pierre. And Lewis goes in defense rather than attack. He was caught by Pierre of Brian Charles for 2. It's 151 now for 8. And the fat lady started to sing.
Well, that was an excellent catch there by Pierre. Right in the leg slip area. He anticipated nicely, and Edwards turned that ball nicely off his pads, and Pierre went to his left, picked it up very low and off the ground and rolled over. And a beautiful catch by him there. Windwards have lost their 8th wicket at 151. And the fat lady has started the music.
Which village is she from?
Tuning up.
From where does the fat lady come from?
She's drinking her water. She's drinking her water. She's getting her vocals ready.
She's from Billy, Daphne, Gome, Kilburney. Where?
She's on the stage.
Oh, she's on the stage. The stage was removed from Crucial Board last night.
She's on the cricket stage.
Oh, I thought the stage was removed from the Love Boogie last night and brought here for the fat lady to sing.
Yes.
Trinidad closing in on victory here. 151 for 8. The Windwards behind by 201 runs. Still gettable, Ken, right?
Cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties.
One thing I would say, it is glorious certainties that Trinidad will win this. They're not going to get that 201. Forget it. Now it's hemmed in like vultures around the bat there. 2 slips. Sealy made off. Short extra cover. Edwards in facing Charles, and he pushed at this one out to backward point. No run. 151 for 8. Trinidad and Tobago closing in on victory here over the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Certainly, the better team certainly is going to come out on top here at the end, as Charles from the southern end in, and he flicks this one off his leg, and he's looking for a non-existent single, and sent back by Smith, and quite rightly so. It's the end of the order. Why should I allow you to come and bat? And I am on 41, 42?
Yes, take charge, get to the 50. See how much you could get for the evening, really. So, Windward Islands 151 for 8. We have Smith is unbeaten on 42. He has just been joined by Lewis. He's yet to get off the mark. Edwards is yet to get off the mark. Lewis have just been brilliantly caught there by Pierre. Excellent catch by the young man. He's been having an excellent game for Trinidad and Tobago, scoring 100 in the first innings, picking up a few wickets, coming back in the second innings, getting a few as well. Bowled a few of us as well, and he's been having a very good game. As Khan will be bowling from the northern end past his umpire Tuckett. Flighty delivery, he's playing across it, and not out, says the umpire. That one, from my vantage point, is going down the leg, pitch outside the leg as well. And umpire standing strong, not out. Khan tosses the ball from hand to hand, past his umpire Tuckett. Flighty delivery, he goes for a big drive, misses it. Keeper Randon collects. The score remains on 151 for 8. And George looking to have a go here against Khan. Khan passes umpire Tuckett, flighty delivery, and George hits that one high and hard straight into the hands of Mohammed. And Khan has picked up another wicket in this game. Wicket number 3. He got 5. This is 5 for him for this innings. Wicket number 5. So he has got a match haul of 10. He got 5 in the first innings, and he has picked up 5 again. Scoreboard says 4. So it's 19 overs, 4 for 61 on the scoreboard. And George walks back slowly. He had a knock of 42. But 1 wicket to go. Trinidad in the hunt here for victory. Windward Islands 151 for 9. 151 for 9 as the big man Thomas shuts out to do battle with Can, who has already taken 4 wickets this morning. And Trinidad has smelt victory here after not having a very good series this year. They were at the bottom of the table. They have bounced back nicely against the Windward Islands. 151 for 9. 151 for 9. Smith just going out caught by Mohammed off the bowling of Khan, the main destroyer here. So Windward Islands 151 for 9. And Thomas has joined Edwards. And the final wicket, 151 for 9, the final wicket. Yes, Trinidad did it their way. So it's Kand. Will be bowling to Edwards. Is in flight. He delivers, whips it off his pads to the man at mid-wicket. Calls for a single. Turned down there by Thomas. The score remains on 151 for 9 as my co-commentator Stanley Hines sings, he did it his way. He did it his way. Frank who? Who sang that song? He's in flighty delivery and he plays forward in the approved fashion. The score remains on 151 for 9. And Trinidad definitely did it their way through the spinners against the Windward Islands. Tosses from hand to hand. Looking for wicket number 5, flighty delivery, and he just comes down on that one and turns the bat on it to the man at mid-on, is Mohammed. He does the feeling. That's the end of the over. Windward Islands 151 for 9. Trinidad searching for wicket number 10 to claim victory in this game against the Volcanoes. The Red Force has really forced the Windwards into a really bad position after having such a good tournament so far. Trinidad and Tobago has turned things around in this round 9 of this tournament, the West Indies 4-day tournament. So Thomas will be doing battle against Charles, who have bowled all morning so far, Gunny Heights.
Yes, I'll go for Kande as Charles bowled that one day to your good friend and Josh Thomas. And he defends and there is no run.
My buddy.
Charles to Thomas. And he has a big swing and he's out. There's a strong appeal for caught behind. Everybody's wrong. Thomas stands his ground. Umpire Houghton stands his ground. Not out. Get back to your bowling mark and let's carry on.
Holy on, Mr. Thomas. Holy on.
A big hee-hoo. As apparently the fat lady is just outside the gate. She hasn't arrived in as yet.
I didn't know
singing.
I didn't know she existed, Mr. Hines.
Yes, the lady who you told me.
The lady
you told me from Billy.
Didn't know she existed.
The lady you told me from Billy. She's outside there.
Now the end is near.
Charles in. Forward defensive and there is no run. That was a confident appeal for caught behind Ken Roy. And we really thought that based on the jubilation, that was that. But umpire Houghton says, not out. Respect the umpire's decision and move on. This one outside the leg stump. And your good friend, Mr. Thomas, pushed down the wrong line and taken by Ramdale. 151 for 9. Brian Charles, your spinner in. And he swings this one. It may be out or he's going for a maximum. It is the maximum. Why not have some fun at this stage, Ken Roy? It's flighted and your good friend Thomas said, hey, I'm a strong man out of eating a lot of blue food in Grenada. And Grenada known for its oil down and so on. You get some strength.
Salt food.
And it's gone for 6. Really a good maximum hit against the breeze. And going towards the double-decker area. Empty double-decker. Not one living soul is seated there. As Charles in. And he goes again into the air. Is he going to get away or would he be caught? Oh, he's gotten away again. Why not have some fun? Up into the air, it fell away from Anderson Phillip at cover. He collects 2 runs. So your good friend Thomas is on 8, and he has bypassed a number of the other scorers. He bypassed Melius for sure, who got 6. Jordan 2, Lois 2. He is on 8, and Edwards. Is Edwards off the markers yet? No, he is not off the mark. So 159 for the loss of 9. 159 for 9. Maybe that's a good play for number 1599.
You went to church this morning, Mr. Hines. It's
forbidden.
forbidden.
I am supporting
It
sports
is
and culture
forbidden.
from where you are given
My
passages
house shall
from the
be a
NLA.
house of prayer.
Well, not a den of thieves. Back goes Edwards and slaps this one, and there's no run. You got to get it right, straight, Ken Roy. The National Lotteries Authority is there to support sports, culture, and education. You got to face that reality, right? You got a big check last week. You weren't gambling. Flighted and the forward defensive, and there is no run. There's nothing named gambling.
Assumption is the mother of all corruption.
Well, you probably know how corrupt you are by the assumption.
Don't assume.
Well, I've said it. I can prove it. A scan in, and Edwards drives it out to mid-off. No run, 159 for 9. Yes, once you're doing a worthwhile cause. You see, the third problem with it is you don't want to get into discussion with that, right? As can in and defended, and there is no run. 159 for 9. The last person to win the lot in Becker was a 7-day Adventist. 10% of his own ends. They had the best collection plate on that Sunday.
Wrong.
You tell me that is gambling?
Wrong.
Dong defends, and there is no run. 20 somebody
It's
$1,000.
forbidden.
He had to 10% of the tights, his tights, 10%. He
Thou
placed 10% of it, $20,000.
Thou shall not.
Plate. Outside the off stump and allowed to go by, and there's no run. We have to face reality, because a lot of the tights, the collections are from what you are claiming they shouldn't do. If you were the pastor in your church,
Hell and
would you
heaven is
accept
real,
it?
Mr. Hines. Hell and heaven is
If you were the
real.
pastor in your church, would you accept the tithes? A very simple question.
Hell is real. Heaven is real. Accept the reality.
The money is real. 159 for 9. As Charles now to bowl to your friend Thomas. And Thomas lifts this one to the left of wide mid-off. He's looking for 2, and the return comes in. Oh, he gets there. So he's up to double figures. He's on 10, 161, 10 to Thomas, and the ground staff has already removed the big blue covers, 3,000 pounds, and has gone under the Frank Thomas Pavilion in the storage area. So there's just one blue piece left remaining down there, and it's really a matter of time now. Blue skies, just a matter of when. And he swings this one into the air. Would he be outcut? Is this the end? The end is nigh.
Frank Sinatra.
It's all over. Our good friend Thomas decides he is going to have a big swing, and quite rightly so. Hits it into the air and was taken on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and he went caught off Brian Charles for 10, and the last wicket fell at 161. Larry Edwards left not out without troubling Beverly, and Trinidad and Tobago winning by a massive 190 runs.
Well, they
Massive.
came here with a plan. They have played better cricket than Windward Islands in both innings, and deservedly they have full points from this game, really. And Windward Islands only have themselves to blame. They have batted poorly in both innings, and Trinidad has taken advantage of a slow turning wicket. The spinners have done them justice in Khan and Charles. They have picked up the majority of the wickets. 5 wickets each in this innings. Khan had 5 in the previous innings, and Trinidad has won this game handsomely, convincingly. They have played over the Windwards in both innings, And here at Annisville,
7-2.
the game has been wrapped up on the fourth day, just after lunch at 1:25 p.m. in the afternoon. 1:25 in the afternoon. The sun is out, and the stumps has been taken up by the ground staff. I guess some watering will be done to the pitch. I don't, not too sure, but Trinidad has won this game and won it handsomely. They have played the better cricket over the 4 days, and deservedly, they have done a very good job.
Well, the game is all over. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force winning by a massive 190 runs here at the Annisville playing field in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and have certainly given their country something more to celebrate on top of the party started already in Trinidad and Tobago being Carnival.
I suspect you'll be missing those parties. You've been mentioning it rather often.
As the Windwards Volcanoes resuming this morning, 10 o'clock, 21 without loss, set a massive 352 to win. We always knew it was certainly not on the cards. Kimani Melias caught pair of Brian Charles 6. He went a total of 25. Devon Smith caught Phillips of Brian Charles 17. He went at 30. Kavem Hodge caught Mohammed Bol Imran Khan 15. He went at 48. At 88, it was Roland Cato stumped wicketkeeper Ramdin off Imran Khan for 21. At 91, followed him immediately, almost thereafter. Amber Sunil caught Webster off Khan for 27. 91 for 5. And we were wondering if the game would have finished before lunch. However, Athenaeus and Smith had other ideas, and the Windwards went into lunch quite comfortably placed based on the way we saw things going at lunchtime. And they resumed after lunch, and since then, the innings has collapsed like a deck of cards. Alec Athenaeus, he was caught pair in a brilliant catch at slip off Brian Charles for 15. It was 136 for 6. At 148, it was Ray Jordan, palpably LBW to Imran Khan for 2. At 151, Dennis Smith finally succumbed, caught Mohammed off Imran Khan for 42, 67 minutes, 57 balls, 4 fours. And the last man to go, it was Sherman Lewis, who was caught by pair of Brian Charles for 2. And the last man to go, went at 151 also. And last man was Josh Thomas. He was caught off Brian Charles for 10, 161 all out. Bowling for TNT Red Force, Anderson Phillips, 7 overs, 2 maidens, no wicket for 16 runs. Brian Charles, 29.2 overs, 9 maidens, 72 runs, 5 wickets. Imran Khan, 20 overs, 5 maidens, 65 runs, 5 wickets. And at the end of it all, a big win here for TNT. You could reflect on the game, Ken Roy. Where did Trinidad go right and where did Windwards Volcanoes go wrong?
Well, the thing that Trinidad did well in the first innings, they got themselves a big total. And then they bowled the Windwards out cheaply and had a massive lead. And once that happens in the first innings, you know that it's going to spell trouble for the team who's catching up, and that was the Windward Islands. And they did that very well. The spinners bowled well on a dry, flat wicket, really. They got some assistance. It turned slowly, but it really assisted them. Khan picked up 5 in the first innings. Good bowling on his behalf. But the Windwards succumbed to some good spin bowling from Trinidad and Tobago. They did an excellent job. Skipper Ramdin really rallied his team nicely. He had a plan. He bowled a spinner with the new ball to Smith. Smith was out cheaply in both innings. He didn't contribute much, and that was one of the things that really caused the Windward Islands to be in the position they are now as losers.
Yeah, but similar pattern that occurred against Barbados. Trinidad and Tobago 114 for 6 and rallied to 307. Barbados were in trouble at one stage as well, 60 for 5, and they came back and make 215 and got in the circumstances, a big lead of 77 from 215 when it was collapsed for 138. Very similar pattern again in this game here. They were going fairly well, and then they collapsed. They ended up at 200. In the second innings, Trinidad again on the back foot, despite the huge lead. And then it took another partnership. They were unable to get that 7th wicket for the second consecutive match, and for the 4th time it has happened in the regional cricket here. What may have been the problem why they are unable to dismiss that 7th wicket and push further into the tail?
Well, when you recognize there's an issue, there's a problem when it comes to anything. You try and solve it, and I think the skipper had made a blunder in not having Hodge and Lewis bowling tandem just after lunch there, and they would have picked up a few wickets. Hodge was bowling well. He had picked up 5 wickets already before lunch, and he really should have brought back Lewis's attacking bowler from the other end to support him. And the game might have been different with those two bowling together for the Windward Islands, taking a few wickets together and setting back Trinidad. It might have, the result would have probably might have been different.
Yeah, 91 for 5. It was TNT. Then they lost 2 wickets, 131. Before Ramdin steadied the ship with a solid innings of 57 not out, ensured that he got his half century, and Trinidad set what I thought at that time was a target that's really and truly beyond the reach of the Windward Islands Volcanoes.
Yes, it was a workman-like innings by Ramdin. Getting to 50, he had 1-4 really in that innings, and then after the 50, he scored another boundary. That tells you how patient he was when it comes to batting, and he batted as a captain should and put Trinidad in a position that they could not have lost this game comfortably. And they said, listen, it's time now for me to get out the Windward Islands. He batted up to got his 50, declared the innings and insulted the Windward Islands, and the result of that is that they have won the game handsomely.
Yeah, the bowling of the Windwards bowling, spearheaded by Sherman Lewis. He got 7 for 76, bowled very, very well. Unfortunately, some misguided decisions, I should say. Some questionable decisions as to why he did not be given a more than fair turn in the second innings. I thought he spearheaded the Windwards attack. Well,
you're having a fast bowler in your armory who picked up 7 wickets in the first innings, and he only bowled 5 overs in the second innings. Really, you have to ask the questions. He wasn't injured. He was on the field all day, but never was given the ball. Unfortunately, for him, he couldn't get a 10-wicket haul in this game, and those are things that you would like to put to your name. But I think if he was used in the second innings, the result of this game could have been much different.
Thomas, normal Thomas, very inconsistent, and his place must be in doubt going into the next round of matches.
Well, the Windward Islands have 2 promising left-arm seamer in Obed McCoy. Really, he was called up for the West Indies for some duties there. And the veteran Dylan Johnson, he's still there as well. These people are still on the bench for Windward Islands. They have to look at their bowling attack and probably make some changes. Thomas have some issues with his consistency. At this level, you have to be a little bit more consistent than that. But he gets wickets. That's something that works for him. But his consistency is something that bothers him.
Ray Jordan bowled well in patches, and he was a good foil for the other 2. Larry Edwards, I thought, again, over-bowled. Just kept bowling. Wasn't troubling the batsmen, and he bowled, 25 overs, none for 85, as against a man who took 7 wickets and only bowled 5.
Well, a difference here in Trinidad bowling and Windward Islands is that Hodge got some wickets in the second innings. Lewis got
6 for 60.
Lewis got some wickets in the first innings, the fast bowler. You bowl these two together, they could be very destructive. You have Edwards, who have been bowling for the past 2 games and so on, but not being effective. He's really have not trouble with anybody as a spinner, and his job really has to come into question as well. How effective is he as a left arm spinner for the Windward Islands?
Yeah, overall in the game he bowled. I'll give you his figures. One thing about figures, they don't lie. He bowled 23 overs, 4 maidens, none for 53 in the first innings. And the second innings, he had 25 overs, 3 maidens, none for 85.
Right, and he had a quota of over 50 overs in two innings, and he haven't taken a wicket.
Out. That is the point I'm making. I'm
haven't taken a wicket, point. So you really have to question his effectiveness as a bowler, and he's playing mainly as a bowler.
And his persistence being kept on by skipper Ambrose, and Ambrose apparently seemed to have lost the plot. How do you rate his captaincy?
He's a young man. He's growing. I think this is at his second season as captain for Windward Islands, really. There are some things that he needs to work on, but he only could work on those things when his players are with him. So he he has some things to learn, some things to do as a captain. He has to be a little bit more forceful, more aggressive at times when it comes to captaincy. And he has to think not just on the field, but outside of the field. You have to think beyond what is happening. He always have to be ready for any situation.
So the game has ended at about 15 or so minutes ago. We're just doing a little postmortem here. Windward Islands Volcanoes resuming today. 21 without loss were dismissed for 161 at about 1:25 p.m. 25 minutes later on the same day against Barbados. Barbados game finished at 1 o'clock. This one is at 1:25. Top scoring for the Windwards Volcanoes, Dennis Smith, he got 42. 27 from Hodge, 21 from Ambrose. And bowling for the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, Imran Khan, 20 overs, 5 maidens, 5 for 65. Brian Charles, the off spinner, 29 overs, 9 maidens, 5 for 72. So Khan overall would have had match figures of 10 for 119. 10 for 119.
Excellent.
Certainly not my position, my view. He should be the MVP of the match.
Of course, he had a knock.
71.
He have a knock of 71. He came back and scored 28 in the second innings. Picked up 10 wickets in the game. Really, the man who's outstanding man with the ball and the bat.
Matter of fact, he got 39.
Yes, 39.
So he got exactly 100 runs and took 10 wickets for 119 runs.
He's
my MVP.
He's really out front, in front of anybody really. Pierre, who scored a lovely 100. Batting with Khan as well. He had a very good game. I think it was his maiden 100. So congratulations to the youngster. Hope he carries on from strength to strength. So Trinidad has some very good positives going into round 10.
Yes, so the situation here to you in Trinidad and Tobago, it's Carnival Sunday. The news will be filtering through. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force have given a nice carnival gift. They've just defeated the Windward Islands by 190 runs. Final scores, Trinidad and Tobago 307 and 244 for 8 declared. Windward Islands Volcanoes 200 and 161. Well, it has really been a pleasure being here for the past 2 weeks in relation to having these games go across the internet, and to all our viewers around the world that are viewing us and hearing our voices. Let me say thank you very much for keep it going like that. Stanley Hines here. I say thank you also to Cecil Charles, Kenroy Martin, and our technical man here, Colvin Harry, doing his great work as usual. From our sunny Annesville here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Stanley Hines signing off for the final time from Annesville. Good evening, good night, good morning to whichever part of the world you are. Bye-bye until.